Once upon a time, long ago, humanity died. This would not be the spectacular bang, such as from a conflict against an outside force or from total global annihilation, but the slow, painfully stretched scream from the parasites within, lamenting that there was nothing more it could suck from the cooling corpse of Earth. Long ago, humanity died, but even in death, it sought a way out. Many such schemes failed miserably, but with all things, success is simply a matter of statistics. So, loaded with the seeds of humanity's future, a massive spacefaring fleet was launched, controlled by fantastical machine intelligences known as gods, set on a millennia-long journey for the nearest Earth-like world, the planet Ebeth in the Meson star system. Many ships were lost along the path, mechanical failures, astronomical obstacles, and even madness among the gods claimed them, but still they persevered and brought us to our new home. They seeded Ebeth with a new life, protected us as we grew, shepherded us when we were lost, and supported us as we relearned what it meant to be human. Having delivered us to our new home, their new task, as they declared it, was to create a utopia from which all humanity would flourish and live eternal as their wards, even as we spread out once again into the stars. They succeeded, and in doing so began the Age of Heaven, and 1,000 years of peace and plenty passed. But all good things must come to an end. In a bare moment, a flash of light tore through all known space. Humanity's technical marvels, their system-hopping ships, and the gods themselves died, snuffed out in an instant. Humanity fractured, and the 400-year-long war in heaven has settled into an uneasy stalemate between ideologies, cultures, and planets. The past-obsessed theocrats of the Jehudi Primogen, the avaricious CEOs of the Business Judgment Rule, and the imperialist democracy of Amalgam Eclipse all gun for power, their subjects' lives the ammunition. This is the world you live in, where the best is all behind us, and what awaits us is only conflict, both large and small. On Avarice, a home in chaos, in the backwater city of Anodyne, a hive of smugglers and mafioso. Welcome to Absent Gods, a Beam Saber campaign run by myself, the GM Josie, and my friends, Seth.
Hello, I'm Seth. I will be playing Rushing Limbo. He is a ace in this whole ordeal.
Michael.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm going to be playing Stunner Morelo, who is a soldier.
Jacob.
Hello, I'm Jacob. I'm playing as Truffle Troubadour, the Infiltrator.
And Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and I'm going to be playing as Faded Rosary, the empath.
Beam Saber is a game about the pilots of powerful mechs in a war that dominates every facet of life. The organizations that perpetuate the war through all of known space are too huge to take down. There is no winning the war, there is only surviving it. But maybe you can leave the conflict in a better place than you found it. In Absent Gods, we hope to follow these three simple principles. To make a world that feels real, with bodies that ache, levers that squeal, and mechs that stomp. To provide a safe environment from which we can tackle difficult topics such as war, trauma, and the ways we hurt and heal. And finally, to play to happen, to play to find out what happens. So, finally on the first session, huh?
It's been like 1 week since you looked at me.
I am so excited. I am
It's
so
been-
excited. You've hyped me up
It's weird
so
to get
bad.
done this so soon after we finished our last one. Watch
I
Deep Blues
was
if you haven't.
excited right up until 1 week.
I am so excited.
Right. So, do we have anything in particular beforehand we want to talk about?
Does it have to be
Anything we
related to the
should-
session?
Not particularly.
That was a joke.
I ain't got nothing. I'm a little too excited now. Now that you've had that exciting and interesting open,
Well, thank you.
like damn.
Yeah, I'm like vibrating a little
Yeah, me
bit.
too.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
We can just get right
She
into it if you
vibing.
want,
Let's-
like straight up.
Let's get into it, dude.
All right, then. So the camera rests on the Meson star system. The other planets are a backdrop to Avarice, and it's in the center of the scene. It zooms in and reveals the land more, and it centers in on a city and a canyon. Further in on a squat, unassuming brick building. And the camera will sweep down through the wall to a tall, white, sloppily uniformed man leaning over a table in front of all of you, with Truffle in the corner, kind of watching. The man has like a tan dress uniform. It's kind of unkempt and wrinkled from like being used a lot. Blue slacks. He's clean shaven. I face cast him as like Captain O'Hagan from Super Troopers. He's got a cigarette that's half finished, and his ashtray is like overflowing. He's not happy to like. He's definitely not happy to have to be talking to you. And he's like, first thing he's like, takes a big, whatever the hell out of cigarettes, not a slug, a swig, you know how it is, a puff. Whatever. And he's like, looks at you, Star, and is like, he's looking at a paper, like kind of looking over it at you, and he's like, illicit gambling. And then he looks over to Limbo, illegal engagement of vehicular combat. And then at Fade, disrupting the peace, hooliganism, and loitering. And he slaps the paper onto the table. You don't know it, but today's your lucky day. I could throw you out. Do you know what happens to folks when even Anodyne won't take you? The last chance of last chance cities? If you're up to me, I'd take you out to Vagrant's Way and give you a quick kick in the pants out of here, but other folks, and has like kind of a look at Truffle in the corner, have a use for 2-bit criminals with more mech than sense. So, the Cradle has given you an out. You take this job, and he like kind of like pushes a little, like a way too thin manila envelope towards you. We wipe the slate clean as a baby's butt. Hell, the Cradle even pay you for it. So you gonna get out of my hair or what?
Limbo's gonna grab that manila folder and like kind of a whatever, sure. Sounds alright. As long as I'm getting paid.
Does he say that, or does he just
Yeah,
like
he
have
says
that
that.
kind of demeanor?
He has both demeanor and says that.
Fade doesn't even make eye contact. It's clear as day that Z heard, but Z is not gonna even bother. Like, Z's gonna do it because of the fact that getting kicked out isn't the ideal for Zer.
Mm-hmm.
But Z is not even gonna, like, acknowledge this angry man with eye contact.
I
Right.
think Stunner is kind of like a deer in headlights right now. She doesn't know, like, this is a new experience for her.
Yeah, poor Stunner. She doesn't deserve to be here.
Right now, Truffle is just sort of like idly watching in the back, tapping on his left knee.
Alright, I guess I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna open the folder and kind of read through it.
Yeah, it has the like details for what is essentially the mission. That I'll give you the briefing when we kind of like, sort of reveal this as a flashback before the actual, like, not a cold open, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like that this happened in the past, and therefore the information is only given later.
Okay.
To use very specific movie terms. So yeah, it seems like y'all are just like kind of up for it in general, or like Stunner doesn't seem to have like answered, so I can't think he's kind of like waiting.
I think she's kind of nodding, like,
For how agreeable you all are, it's hard to say that you were criminals in the first place. Like, he looks like weirdly like accomplished for having done absolutely nothing.
I think that's our problem in the first place, though.
But then I think he like waves you off and is like, whatever. And he looks at you, Truffle, and is like, they're your problem now. You tell your bosses that I did a good goddamn job.
Okay, Mr. What's your name again? He takes out like a pencil and starts writing something.
What was his name? I'm sure I wrote it down. I did not. We'll go with
What if it just was, what's your name again?
Drebin Faz.
Okay,
So, like,
Truffle. Sorry.
Oh, I assumed you wanted to like write it down for realsies. If you don't, then that's fine.
Truffle just begins like scribbling down on his little like notepad. Okay, note to self: Drubbin Faz is good.
Good. He's okay.
Right.
It's a very like used notepad, like probably been like shuffled quite around a lot, despite it like probably not having been purchased that long ago.
Right. And then I think we do that like fade star wipe or whatever. And then y'all are seeing
PowerPoint transition.
this.
I'll do it.
Has it loaded for y'all?
Yes, it has.
Cool. So,
It's so tiny.
first I want to get through some actual introductions. Like who are your characters? Like, what do they look like? What are your vehicles? What are they named? We'll start with Seth.
Well, I have a humanoid cobra man. He is a violet red in color with a frilly hood. He has a tail. He has to have the tail. Always big jackets. He's bigger in build. Big jackets. That whole spiel. Has to be just gaudy in appearance at all times.
Mhm.
Purples and greens, baby.
They go well together. Could you real quick go over his history, tragedy, and opening?
Yep, history is he was an ex-car racer. He did rally races, in fact. Used to do all sorts of bad things, such as cheating by sabotaging his competitors' cars, making it so that the road's not good for his competitors' cars, bribing people if he could, did all that whole stuff. As far as tragedy goes, he got caught. He got caught, sent to prison, and now he can't work anymore because, he's got a criminal record now, and they don't like that. Not hiring any criminals, yippee. So, he got into illegal mech fighting, and does that now. And then
That's
obviously got
very
caught.
normal.
That's very normal. That's just him. It's okay.
What is his drive? Like, what does he want to essentially change in the world?
What he wants to essentially change in the world?
Yeah.
Well, he just wants to get strong and powerful and be on top, honestly. A big name people know about.
Right, to become like famous and well liked? Question mark. I don't know. Have enough money to not give a shit about being well liked.
Yeah, hey, he's a heel. He wants everybody
He is a
to
heel.
know. He is a heel.
We'll see if we can get him in some wrestling.
Oh man, mech wrestling. That sounds cool. And dangerous.
Yeah.
He's in.
I think the final thing I'd ask is other than like your vehicle and its look.
Okay, well, my vehicle's name is the God's Pearl. It has to be like that. He drives a Race Bodega Rally V 3.12, and the mech itself is custom. It's just a customized vehicle. Basically, the rally car is green and purple paint with a stripe with diamonds on it, number 98, bunch of different stickers, but some of them have been spray painted over, so then a big old sticker saying Flash in Heaven, his performer name, can be right smack dab, so then you could see it at all times. As far as his mech goes, it is a headless mech. It has its cockpit in the chest. The wheels are on the wrists. It's got spiked fists and heelys, more or less, on the feet. On the shoes, pardon. They are shoes.
Right.
Anything else?
The last thing I'd want is probably your beliefs.
My beliefs?
Yeah, basically like to explain to the camera kind of off the cuff stuff that you believe about the other players that will generally inform how you act around them and can be one of the things that you struggle because of and therefore gain XP.
Generally, just, Limbo thinks Stunner is a good person because she bet on him. So obviously that puts her in like high up on the ring for all three of these folk I have. No wait, yeah, 3. Okay. So yeah, she's good. Truffle, he doesn't like Truffle. Having to be essentially, their handler and everything. It's like, man, this sucks. I hate a guy in charge that isn't me, more or less. If he's not willing to get him up on the ranks, it doesn't matter. As far as Faded goes, he's alright. He has good fashion. Pretty alright. I can't say more than that because he's pretty quiet.
Mysterious.
Mysterious, yep.
Troubled.
Troubled.
Trouble. Yeah, I think that sounds about it for you. Next, can we get Stunner Morello?
Stunner Morelo is a woman of average height. She has kind of farm overalls, a big ol' metal pack on her back, which is actually just her fucking archaic phone. And she has nice curly blue hair. Usually she can be found in some bandages.
Is that because she's just like clumsy, or
Clumsy plus just regular outdoorsy work. A little bit of a mix.
Right.
What's next now?
You can do your vehicle.
My vehicle, right. My mech is quadrupedic, and there's a torso, head, and arms, of course. The cockpit is within the head, and the arms of it, rather than being just arms, come outfitted with retractable shields, which is its main form of defense and attack.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Can I get Stunner's opening and history and tragedy?
Well, Stunner was a farmhand in a small town on the planet we are currently on that I can remember the name of. And
Avarice.
Avarice, yes. Like I said, I knew that. Her tragedy was that within a trip to a nearby town, a larger one, there was a war conflict, and she had no choice but to confiscate a downed mech and run off with it, while accidentally discharging and angering a particularly vengeful person who is now kind of after her. And she is, out of the fear of the safety for her home, decided that it would be best to travel instead of sitting there in this small town without really any real defense. Like a sitting duck waiting for someone to come and punk her and her family.
Right.
And the third thing was opening. While traveling, coming across a big city, infatuated with Anodyne and its unique culture and pastimes, and unaware of how
in big
most
quotes.
city
Those
life,
words in big quotes.
big quotes. Unaware of how most cities actually operate, she got involved in illegal gambling, not realizing it was illegal. She bet on rushing, and of course the whole thing was busted.
Right. I don't think it was said, but I think like you and Limbo were the only two that were actually caught, which is kind of why y'all have been lumped in here. And then Fade was just around. Fade just like got on like someone's nerves, I guess.
That's even
like,
better.
Hooliganery
How do
and
you
shit.
bust
Like
an
what kind
entire
of
gambling ring and only get 2 people?
they're not. I mean, like the thing is that like the people that they were, that the squad that they are is the Wailing Ghouls. I actually named the People's Militia for Preservation of Anadinian Dignity. Nobody calls them that. They call them the Wailing Ghouls because like they fucking hate the name. Like just like imagine somebody calling you like the whiny assholes. They're like just like wannabe police in like Crime Town. So yeah, you got on the bad side of wannabe cops.
This
This sucks, man.
Oh,
this
man.
is great.
Dang.
A bunch of angry dudes in fake cop outfits, and you got them mad.
Sounds about right.
When I said like I face cast like Captain O'Hagan as like this guy, it's like I mean that both in that like he's like a fucking highway patrolman and like not a cop, but very much wants to act like a cop, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Stunner, huh? What's your
drive.
beliefs about the other characters? And you
Right.
drive too. You drive.
First drive is essentially to get enough money to be able to support her family while away from home.
Right.
And the beliefs. Let me pull up the sheet specifically. And by that I mean scroll down. So rushing Limbo. The dude's probably never actually won a race, and that's probably why he won't pay me back. What I lost on him. Faded Rosary. Why else would you wear a mask unless it was to cover scars? Because you might be a violent person. You know? And Truffle is... You know, he's way too fancy for these parts. I think he's here for some other reason than to babysit us.
Nice. And let's see. We have some other people here, don't we?
Dang. Other
Truffle.
people.
Can we get to Truffle's whole deal?
Hello? I play Truffle Troubadour. He, they pronouns. He's kind of a normal person, except that he has big bunny ears and green hair and a lot of other weird stuff. Most of the
That's
time
all
he's in
normal.
most of the time he's in his work clothes, just like standard slacks and button shirt. Other times he's in his weird spy outfit, just like sleeveless black with some metal reinforced arms. A lot of fancy stuff like that. He also has his left leg is also a metal leg. It's prosthetic. Sorry, I'm fumbling a bit.
You're fine,
But
dude.
yeah, he has a robot leg. So history, tragedy opening. So he used to work on Truffle used to live on the planet Syzygen, where he lived a roughly average life as any 20-something, going out all the time, doing some showing off a bit, doing like some standard labor work, nothing, pretty much the standard stuff you'd see on Syzygen. Eventually, though, his tragedy struck when due to a war-related incident that interrupted his hometown, he lost his leg. And maintaining a robot leg is pretty expensive, as it turns out, and due to some friction, he ultimately decided to move over to Avoris to see if he could find a way to pay that off. When he got to Anodyne, he ultimately couldn't find any good positions except for a place at a work position at a community center, which he thought would just be a simple office job, and he signed up as a secretary. He then later discovered that the community center also doubles as a trouble center for dealing with all of the weird rabble and questionably legal aspects of living in Anodyne. He has taken a few jobs from there currently, but nothing too much.
Okay.
His ultimate...
That was the... Go on.
Oh, sorry. Were you going to ask me about, like, my goal?
No, I was just mentioning that was the blah. So what is the X? That was
sorry, give me a sec.
or not the opening. That was the history. And tragedy. The opening, yeah, your opening was that like you're just in the middle of this, I guess.
Yeah, I got assigned to this. Took this assignment that showed up one day. Not really knowing what it entailed at the moment.
Right, and essentially right now you're acting as like a kind of grunt level uh, cradle operative, I guess.
Just
Level
Uh,
1
like
crook.
yeah, level 1
just
crick.
just looking over being a mediator for these people on this job.
I don't think mediator is the word, but that's fine.
I also
So what is?
I forgot to mention he also has a mask sometimes, only when he's wearing his like his outside outfit though.
Uh-huh. So what's his drive? What does he want to change in the world?
Ultimately, he wants to get back to living a normal life, either through getting money so that he can finally support his expensive limb, and like figuring out like what to do around Anodyne so that he can make a place for himself.
Okay. What are his beliefs about the others?
Rushing Limbo. Truffle looked at Rushing Limbo, saw him how he like looked at that folder, and he immediately thought, "This guy will make me lose a paycheck someday. He will screw up, and I will at best I will be suspended. At worst, I may be out of a job. We'll see how that goes." For you guys hear me? Okay. For Stunner
I can hear you.
Morelo, Truffle can see that she's a very good fighter, but he also thinks that she doesn't deserve to be here. She doesn't look like she's done anything particularly wrong. Just like in a bad situation, maybe a bit like himself.
Mm-hmm.
And as for Faded Rosary, he's noted that Z's got a lot of baggage, just like mental, emotional, and he doesn't think that he can rely on Zer very much in the heat of battle.
Understandable. And finally, we got Faded Rosary.
Wait, can I introduce my vehicle?
Oh yeah, sorry, but I forgot about that.
My vehicle is the little dinky one in the corner. It's called the Sleeping Beauty. It's very like untraditional mech, basically kind of like a circus vehicle that has been modified to actually work in a battle. Truffle sits in the center of a bubble cockpit where he looks through a screen that displays what he can see out of the two headlights on the front. And most of the time it just rolls, it can drive forward and backward and turn around, just like as a normal wheel-like thing would. To stop and move around slower, it has some giant gripping legs that I can pull out to stop on the ground. Its other weapons include 2 lower blasters and some missile launchers.
Do you remember that like weapons and gear and stuff is stuff that you will declare? It does not
Okay.
just have those. You can have that as like your
Sorry.
image of it, sure, but like until you declare that, it does not have that.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's all good.
So mostly it just has wheel, sights, and legs.
Right. Okay. And finally, Faded Rosary. What is your history, your tragedy, and your opening?
So, Faded Rosary, firstly, usually shortened to Fade when it's Zer choice. Uses Z-Zer pronouns primarily. And when Z was not necessarily younger, but young adult-ish, Z was immediately drafted away, not necessarily out of an actual draft so much as their family decided that, well, I mean, you could be in the military and that would be good for us. So Z wound up in a weirdly shady militia, and the entire time that Z was in there, Z showed serious promise. Constantly top of everything that Z did, aside from one exception. One person named Ash, who at every possible moment either matched Zer or slightly surpassed Zer. And Z hated him. Absolutely despised him. At this moment in Zer's life, Z did not know that Z was an empath, and did not know that Z had the ability to manipulate, to some degree, the emotional states of the people around Zer. All Z knew was that Z was stuck in the military, trying Zer best, doing really well, and constantly getting showed up by this absolute loser. Then one day, about around when everybody was formally assigned their mechs, Fade was granted essentially a riot control model. You know, sort of a SWAT car almost. And in comparison to Ash, who was granted immediate access to military grade weapons. And Z was okay with this. Z didn't really want to be on the front lines. But Ash decided to rub it in. Decided to point it out to everybody. Hey, check out what Rosary's got over here. That sort of thing. And that was the last straw. Z immediately felt this intense, raw anger of everything that had been going on boil over inside Zer. Did not realize that it would spread to the people around Zer, and projected it. And when Z did so, one of the people that got projected onto just happened to be piloting a mech at the time. And when faced with such raw emotion completely out of nowhere, this person became briefly come with this anger and just stomped the dude.
Big splat.
So needless to say, Fade did not stay in the military very long after that. Shortly thereafter, Z wound up getting tied up in a sort of petty street gang called the New Strand, because word spread very quickly about a weird, messed up psychic getting kicked out of the military for getting the ace student killed. So, eventually, a street gang of the other weird, messed up psychics picks her up. But Z couldn't really fit in with them either, because they all just had no other goal than to survive on their own, no matter what cost. All they ever looked out for was their fellow psychics. Z didn't really want to harm innocent people or steal just to get by like they did. So, as soon as any even slight police force came their way, Z got kicked under the bus. The weak link. Didn't want to fit in with them, so Z didn't get to stay. And that's what led Zer here today.
And then Z just kind of made an ass of herself, and Z got picked up, right?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, pretty much. No one to back Zer up. So at that point,
right.
It was a lot easier to get grabbed.
Right. Let's see. What is Fade's drive?
As of right now, currently, because of the fact that Z looks back and sees nothing but constantly making mistakes and getting kicked out, Z mostly just wants to kind of find somewhere that Z actually belongs in. Somewhere that won't kick Zer out for just trying to exist and function as is.
Okay.
I know this
what
is
does that
a
actually
slight shift from...
really mean though? It sounds like being in a squad would fulfill that.
I mean, only if the squad wants to keep Zer.
Assuming you're in this game with us, I really hope so.
I mean, that's just at this point, honestly.
Okay.
I fully expect that to slightly shift when Z realizes Z's not getting kicked out.
I mean, that's fair, but the thing is that for a drive clock, it should be something that is a real more of a real goal, because otherwise, if it's a drive, then we narrativize it and we have to say that the squad itself does not accept you until such a time that you can spend a drive clock to do that.
I kind of want to say
That's a fair point.
I want to say long-term goal.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did shift that a little
fine.
bit from what was previously discussed. I just kind of...
It's chill.
Fair.
It's chill.
It's news to us, so hey, it's okay.
I guess that would be I guess that would be a bit more of a character motivation thing than an actual drive.
Right.
Their other goal that stuck around is that the longer that time passed after getting their rival killed, the more Z kind of realized that it wasn't necessarily Ash's fault that any of this happened, so much as it was the system that decided to pit them against each other and turn them into killing machines. And at this point, Z just wants that old militia disbanded. Nobody else gets to go in there and turn out to be a murder machine like those two did.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a much more of a drive, a long-term goal that isn't immediately like attainable. Something you have to work towards, which disbanding a military squad definitely sounds like it. Let's see. What is Zer beliefs?
Right. So, honestly, Z did not really see any of these people right up until approximately when this was assigned. So all Z really got was that initial read in that room. And as of right now, Z looks at rushing Limbo and can't read him at all. Cannot pick up an emotion, cannot pick up a goal, just sees a snake. As far as Z is concerned, Limbo is the one wild card in the entire squad.
Head empty.
He could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Stunner, on the other hand, Z read that body language, kind of got a feeling of how she was feeling, and it almost felt suspicious. Z thought that she was too innocent to be caught up in something in Anodyne, and that there had to be more to the story than just some gambling mishap.
Understandable.
Truffle, meanwhile, Z almost kind of finds it funny. As far as Z is concerned, he seems kind of like just some accountant who doesn't realize that he's in over his head, about to go out on missions out here with, like, probably other criminals. Z knows Z's a criminal, and it can be assumed that the other two are criminals too. And Z doesn't want to see him get hurt, but at the same time doesn't know how to prevent that when surrounded by criminals.
That's even more understandable. Can you introduce your sick-ass robot?
Damn, sick-ass robot. Alright, yes, I absolutely can. Fade's robot is a large bipedal mech called Warpaint. It is essentially that sort of SWAT car-esque riot control mech that was assigned to Zer in the military. Z managed to steal it in the confusion, despite the fact that it is a large mech, and has ever since then just made it Zer's. It is almost indistinguishable from a factory new model of its own type, due to the fact that Z has essentially turned its outward appearance into some weird, crazy giant robot magical girl. Covered in unnecessary metallic ribbons, long lines of neon lights striping across it. It's a brick house covered in bright pink lights.
That is cool as heck. So, essentially, the first mission that y'all will be going through, this sort of, penal mission, is you're being employed by the Cradle through the Wailing Ghouls. Your technical target is the 960 Confide of the House of Smiling Ashes. The location, the map that I have so nicely made here, it is the city of White Mesa. It is a largely ruined city, though there are sections of it that still contain like large populations. The objective is to escort the driver, call sign Evergreen, from the youth center at Point Apple, which is I'll ping it over here, through to Point Orange, way back here in the woods that you start around at. There are a couple stipulations, rules of engagement, basically like things that the the faction either wants you to do or does not want you to do. They want you to avoid any harm coming from the people or coming to the people or property in Point Blueberry. So this whole section here that is got this big old shoe.
Real big shoe.
The only thing y'all have to do is, first of all, come up with the tactic and detail of how you're going to do this. They don't particularly mind whatever happens so long as you just keep the damage out of Blueberry. Point Cherry is technically everything around Blueberry. That can go ahead and take damage. Let's see. So, start of mission stuff is pretty simple. As I said, you got to do like the tactic and detail stuff. Tactic is just like the method you want to do it. If I can bring up tactic here. Wish I could actually get to it. There we go. The tactic is the method that the squad is going to use to accomplish the objective. It's a general strategy and requires a detail that explains how the mission opens. So the tactics are assault which is open violence against a target. The detail is point of attack. Deception is luring, tricking, and manipulating the target. The detail is in the method of deception. Scientific is engaging with technological power. The detail is in the unusual procedures. Social is when the squad negotiates with, bargains, or it persuades the target. The detail is the social connection. Stealth is for taking action undetected, which the detail is the point of infiltration. And then transport is carrying cargo and people through danger, and the detail is the route and the means. So they want you to get to Point Apple and then bring whoever is at Point Apple to Point Orange. So yeah, very first thing you have to figure out is how do you want to do this? Or like, not even how you want to do this, how you want to start this.
Have we been given any information on who we're picking up at Point Apple, or just that we're picking something up there?
You are picking up you're escorting a driver whose call sign is Evergreen if you need to talk to them. And that is all you really know. You don't know what you're grabbing, but I think they probably said that they are in a truck.
So are we okay? So are they gonna be driving the truck themselves, or are we gonna be picking the truck up and running with it like a football?
That depends on how wacky you want this. But otherwise, they will be in a truck.
Well,
driving.
Well, rushing would suggest let's go through Point Cherry because it wouldn't matter if we messed up in Point Cherry and just go around. And then go
if
back.
We just like try to drive through Point Blueberry, what's the chances of us like being like
That's gonna be bad.
looked at?
That's gonna be very bad.
Fuck around and find out.
Okay, then maybe
Yeah,
we do want to.
like, the thing is, like, maybe you could Truffle. Like, Sleeping Beauty could probably navigate city streets just fine. Warpaint cannot walk somewhere without something taking some collateral damage.
Right.
look
Warpaint
at
is we didn't mention this earlier, but Sleeping Beauty is a light mech, which is usually smaller, made of lighter materials, and is much more maneuverable and quick.
Wait.
Talos Nebula, Stunner's mech, is medium, and so is the God's Pearl, Rushing Limbos.
Wait.
And then, of course, the big chonker, fucking Warpaint is heavy, which means it's big. It is made and looks like it is for fucking shit up.
Okay, guys, hear me out on this. So rushing, your mech turns into this car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's streets in Blueberry.
Yeah. He's fallen.
It's a pretty big car, though, isn't it?
It's a rally, so it's
Yeah, it's large. It should be mentioned that like
modified
roads are not
rally.
simply for just like cars and trucks. Like like mechs are vehicles, so like they use them just as much.
Okay.
So it's not a weird thing for you to be seen on there. If you want to know more information in particular, you can use this nice little roll called Gather Information. Basically, if you want to know in particular, like, if there's usually any patrols in an area or any like particulars about like the like places you're going to go, you can roll Gather Information. You can decide like what exactly you're rolling. Like usually it's like if you're here already and you're looking, it's like something like survey or something. If you were gathering information like from a contact, it might be like sway.
Mm-hmm.
So if any of you wanted to know more information, Gather Information is the way to do it.
Well, shit, that sounds smart. That sounds like something Limbo would do, considering he messes up his competitors' mechs in his mech fighting as well. So,
Okay. Do you want to roll that then?
hell yeah. Let's see.
Well, first, like you have to say like what you're doing. Like what is it that you're doing to get this information?
God, I'd probably walk around and ask people, see about get buddy, rub elbows, literally rub elbows against people, get somebody's attention.
I think the problem is that like you're kind of already in there.
Okay.
Unless you stopped cars along the road, you wouldn't be really asking anybody, I don't think.
Okay.
What
Yeah, I don't
about
think he's
like
gonna do all that.
They
what
kind
about
of
like a
they kind of
pamphlet at a tourist stop?
I mean, that's certainly a way. We could discuss that. But yeah, like
Roll down his
what
window.
the point is, what are you trying to figure out? What do you want to know?
Well, if anybody's gonna be in our way,
Okay,
any
so like
mean-looking
patrols and
guys,
stuff.
yeah, patrols and stuff. Like, hey, what do they got situated? Where, if possible, where? Well, people are gonna know where if he rolls down his window and screams and asks people. Probably get a fuck off, buddy. Yeah, I guess just what kind of mechs are there, who's got them going on, or who's piloting them. I guess which group is associated with them specifically, not so much people's names.
Okay. Let's see. What would you probably roll? What do you think? Y'all get to decide what you roll essentially. Just make it make sense, obviously.
Let's see.
It would probably make some like if you were like say using your mech, like its internal like scanners or something. I'd probably call that a scan.
Okay.
If you were like basically getting out of the top of your mech and like looking over the dunes or whatever, I think that would certainly be a survey.
Oh no, he's just in his car still.
Okay, so is that a scan then?
Yes, it would be, but
Okay.
Okay.
So if you would, hit that generic,
okay.
and
so,
then you have one in scan. So go ahead and roll one.
I've got 2 in scan.
We
Am I
can't
the
just
wrong
like
person?
action
I'm on the wrong
and then
person.
scan.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry, I was on the wrong person's thing. Don't worry. Yeah,
Like I
2 in
said,
scan.
it's
2
fine.
roll 2. Go ahead. Yep.
So for scan,
This has no consequences because like you're not doing anything risky.
Yeah.
Like most gather information is like pretty simple stuff.
so on mine it says 3Q. That's just 3 dice, correct?
No, that is for like if you were to have to resist with your mech.
Okay.
Ignore that except until I say like there's a consequence essentially.
Okay, so how many dice would I roll just off the
You have
bat?
2 in scan, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
2?
Yep.
Okay, so it's 1 per mark. Alright.
Yes. Yep. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
5 and a 4, so a mixed success. But gather information, you never really fail it. You just like get standard information for a mixed success. So you would obviously know, like, kind of off the bat, that the 960 Confide, like, sometimes operates in the area. This is, like, certainly outside of, like, the house's or, like, area. Like, their ceded land, essentially. But they still send people out here just to, like, I guess, keep an eye on it. I think that what you know, just from looking out, you can see. I think you see like the glint of like metal out here.
Okay.
So your plan earlier about using the like just going around the like highway isn't necessarily like the best idea because something is there.
Okay.
That is what you get for that.
Damn. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, anybody else want to know or like try and roll for gathering information for anything else, or is that the kind of information you all wanted?
Well, kind of what I was thinking earlier was that, like, rushing go through with the car nonchalant is, like, that's him getting from orange to apple, while the rest of us go through cherry, potentially causing a distraction so that rushing can get to apple and then get back to orange.
Okay, so it's like that's sort of a subterfuge kind of thing in it.
Sounds like it.
I'm
to
not
me.
sure I'd feel about a 3-1 split. I'd be more comfortable with a 2-2.
Right, especially as like
Yeah.
their handler, like them being like, "Hey, how about us three go this way?"
Hey, Rushing, who's into illegal mech fighting, why don't you go through the city, away from us?
Just should I go with Russian then?
You are a small mech, so
That doesn't necessarily
Listen,
say
I
anything.
don't know.
Though.
Listen, I don't know how I feel about rushing being the one to take, being the one to meet who we're trying to pick up. Just in general,
Is
Limbo
this
doesn't
is this
like it
Fade?
either.
Is this Fade actually like vocalizing this?
Fade's thinking it. Fade's not saying it yet.
Limbo's
Okay.
gonna groan about this idea, honestly, because
Like
he
I'm
wants to go.
thinking like the scene that we're in is like you're on the edge of like this forested area, and like all of you are just sitting in your mechs, and like the sun is beating down, you know, like on y'all. Whoever of you have AC, thank the Lord for it, because it is a sweltering kind of day. Like you can
Truffle
see
ha-
like you can see the lines coming out of the sand.
Holy
Truffle has
shit.
AC, but he's still swelteringly hot anyway because he hasn't changed out of his work clothes yet.
Damn.
Oof.
He's like
Fade is bragging about having AC on comms.
he's just
hypocrite.
Fade.
Truffle is
I
still
mean,
like
Rushing is screaming about that. He doesn't have AC. His AC is like has been removed to make way for more mech stuff. Okay? So he is upset. He's got the windows rolled on. He's got like a fan plugged into his car. And it's barely going. It is just kicking it. It's on his last legs, and he is upset that Z's just bragging about this.
Meanwhile, his radio comes back on, and he just hears Fade say like, "Oh man, it's actually kind of cold in here. I gotta turn this up a bit."
You want a fucking jacket? You want a jacket?
If you're offering.
Come take it. Come on. He is still wearing his big old jacket, by the way. He has not taken that thing off. Maybe it would help if he took it off, but he's not going to. Okay, well.
Truffle is not like paying much attention to this calls. He's still like scrabbling stuff about the mission and the people, wondering why all these points are named after fruit. Just a lot of
Hang
scratch
on,
on his notepad.
So, to just kind of study the landscape would be like survey, was it? Survey or scan?
Yeah, I call that survey because using scan is like using your vehicle's like internals and like scanners and stuff. Survey is you basically
fair.
popping out of it and just being like, what can I see with my naked eye?
I have 1 point of
Um,
survey. How much do you have, Jenny?
She's
Only
doing it.
one, but that was like one particular thing that I was looking to figure out.
I would
Okay.
encourage people not to talk too much about like what particular stats they have to keep away from like metagaming.
Plus, she's
Okay,
doing
sorry
it.
about
Fair.
that.
That's fair.
Yeah. Plus,
It's
Jenny's
nothing big,
doing
but
it,
if I
so-
start to hear like, oh, I've got 2 in this, does anyone have higher? I'm gonna stop that.
I've got 3.
I'm gonna beat you up.
Do it. You
But
won't.
yeah, if you want to do a gather information, like what are you trying to figure out? Like about the route or
I am trying to figure out whether or not this nice, calm blueberry sector has big enough roads that my big ass vehicle can walk through it without garnering too much attention. Because I feel like if it's just kind of walking through without gathering a ton of attention, people who are potentially going to be like more interested in like assaulting tiny mechs are going to be a little bit more off put by a big one. I think that it might be a bit of an intimidation tactic, keep people away just by being like, that's really big actually.
Right.
But at the same time, if the roads are too small for a huge mech, I can't do that.
I'd say like the roads in these worlds are designed for up to like big mechs. You know, like military vehicles have to get around somehow, and sometimes they're really big.
Okay.
So, like,
so that's not necessarily something I need to like double check.
Yeah, like by and large, like if I say this is a road, it's made for like any particular size of mech.
Okay, cool, great.
Like so long as you don't start stepping on buildings or something. But yeah, that's
In that case, I think I actually want to specifically try to look out into the desert and try to make out what is over there. Because as of right now, the only information I've got is that the Snake Man told me that he thinks he sees metal out there.
Yep.
I think like each gathered information is essentially like the one chance for seeing the things. So it's not like
Okay.
people can't just basically like, you know, oh, you tried to see that thing, let me try. Like that's the information you get out of that. You look out and it's like, I don't see what he's seeing. I'll just trust him.
All right, that's fair.
Damn, you trust Limbo?
For some reason. But
I know this is really stressing my suspension of disbelief.
beyond that, what is the tactic here?
Well,
Also, we have to understand that the like engagement roll can fuck up, and so your best laid plans can just immediately hit a snag.
sounds like fun.
So like, don't get too into like the planning itself.
Well, I
Does
will.
But it's like,
splitting
are
up
you-
still sound okay? Oh, sorry, Josie.
It's all right. The important thing is like, are you like assaulting? Are you deceiving? Are you doing science shit? Are you doing social stuff? Are you doing stealth? Or are you just transporting? Because so far it sounds like you're like transporting, but with like slight complications to like someone going in a certain area. You know, like, are you just getting there, getting the thing, and then going?
Well, we hope so.
That's what
Right.
Truffle would
Like,
like
that's
to do.
probably the ideal, yeah.
Yeah, Truffle
there's
wants
not-
to just get there casually.
Right. Like, this is a smuggling thing. There's not really much reason to think, like, we're immediately going to get stopped and someone's going to shoot at us, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Like, at most, maybe there might be some aspect of a stealth to it, but I don't necessarily think that that's an immediate requirement yet.
Yeah.
right. Like, you're not taking, like, what's the word? Like, precautions for stealth. You're not, like, camouflaging or anything like that, right?
No.
Okay, then for transport, all we need is the detail, which is the route and the means. The means we pretty much already know, which is like Evergreen's truck, whenever you get to Evergreen. But the route is the important part. So if you're going to split up, what's up?
Is there a way to erase lines?
You can
Yeah, give me a
select
second.
it. Yeah, you can just select it
Yeah,
and delete
if
it.
you've done that, you can just select it. I'll just do that. Boop.
No, not over there. The one I put on my character on accident.
Okay, yeah, I'll get that.
Sona, why are you drawing in
Whoop.
Shopee on your mech?
Got big all of a sudden.
She's just having a nice time.
But yeah, if you wanted to like split up, that's like something you would certainly do. Just like, you know, quick and dirty, decide now, essentially.
I don't think we should split up. I don't necessarily know if I can trust that Mr. Rushing over here is actually gonna do what he's supposed to do, even if we do send him with the little wheel.
He's gonna nod and say, like, yeah, that's fair.
Alright, you all want to go down the road?
Yeah,
I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think that for some reason I have this weird feeling that it'd be safer to follow this road straight through and then take the right angle towards where we gotta go.
okay, I can see that.
Maybe.
Are you trying?
Okay, so I will go ahead and copy and paste the whole of the mission 1 thing here into the Discord.
Into the Discord. Hell yeah. Okay. Should I have a window recording the Discord chat?
No, please don't.
Okay.
Like,
All right.
y'all have it.
You can just post a
Yep.
picture over it, I guess.
Okay. Just
Okay,
making
so-
sure.
So yeah, very first thing is we get the engagement roll, and to do that we ask a few questions. So first we take 1 dice just because of plain old luck.
Yep.
Is the mission bold?
I don't think so. If
Not
we're just
particularly.
yeah,
but
if we're
just a
going
bunch of,
straight
like,
through.
A bunch
the
of
mission
chumps
is-
going on a road.
Okay, is the mission especially complex?
Doesn't seem like it.
For this group,
For this group. Overall,
Does the mission
no.
exploit the target's vulnerabilities?
As far as I know, no.
Is the mission's tactic ineffective? No, I think this is just fine.
Yeah, I think this is straight forward.
Does the squad receive an external support? No.
No.
Is anyone interfering with the mission other than the target? No. Are there any other factors that affect the mission? Take +1 dice for each one that benefits and -1 for hindering. I think that's just a straight up, like, 1 dice, right?
Sounds about right.
This just feels like get in, get out.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go ahead and roll y'all engagement.
Holy shit. Josie gets the roll.
Oh boy.
Engagement.
Come on.
1 dice. We'll see how this goes. Not
Four.
bad.
Okay,
you
good.
did
That's
not-
good. I can go with a 4. That's my lucky number.
So essentially what that determines is your starting position. It will start at risky. If you failed, it would be at desperate. If you succeeded, it would be at controlled. So I think that y'all will have moved along the road a good bit. And you do get one unfortunate thing.
Uh-oh.
You reveal these.
They're revealing things.
A group of pawn model pawn mechs are patrolling the area. Please don't put X's on everything, please. For the love of goodness. But I think they see you coming. And one of them blares on a loudspeaker. Just, hey, hold up! What are you doing here? I think they all move up to kind of intercept your path. Bip.
Limbo's gonna huff. Hates traffic stops. They're the fucking worst. He doesn't say that, but he does huff.
I think that out of all of us, Truffle would probably be the best to explain our way out of this, considering that we are supposed to just be on official business.
Yep, so I'm going to go ahead and put down a dice. We're going to make it a 6-step clock. This will be, change its name. What's a good name for, like, not discovered, but like
Suspicion.
cover blown? No,
Suspicion.
this is cover blown in general. Like, you're keeping cover. Like, I'm not a bad person. These folks are a 4-step clock, which is suspicion. They're not currently necessarily suspicious of you, but you could make that. Or actually, it's not suspicious. This would be like bypass patrol. If you fill this, you bypass the patrol. The 6-step clock is essentially a bad clock because it'll fill if you kind of fuck up and make yourself like more suspicious.
Nice.
Yep. So, yeah, they've accosted you, and like 2 of them have moved up to back up the one over in front, who appears to be like kind of the little like group leader. And they speak over their megaphone again, and they're like, "State your name and purpose."
Sorry, give me a second. I'm Truffle Troubadour, member of Anodyne Community Center, secretary, and I am.
Anodyne.
Uh,
The hell does a bunch? The hell does a
not
bunch of
okay.
mafia want here?
Okay, he doesn't say Anodyne, just.
Russian's
like,
gonna whisper over
I'm
the.
Truffle Troubadour. I am escorting this group through the suburbs.
Escorting. What are you? What?
Community service.
Yes, we're doing community service.
In a bunch of you're doing community service in a bunch of mechs going down the highway. What the hell are you talking about?
These are just what we use to travel.
If you're trying to convince them of that, I think that would be a roll.
Oh boy.
Hell yes.
I
I didn't plan to be doing negotiation this early.
I wanted to extract. I think Stunner would kind of chime in. The gas prices are outrageous.
Amazing.
And, could that be my convincing role?
No, I don't
Darn.
think that's not really a thing. But
On what planet?
it sounds
this
like
one.
you're trying to. Anyway, it sounds like Truffle, you're trying to convince them that, like, nothing to see here, fellas. Which I think would be a sway, because they're certainly like above you as like what they're doing. You're not commanding them or anything, and you're not like nudging them. You're certainly using like trying to use guile, wit, and charm. So this certainly would be a sway.
I guess so. I don't know what I'm doing here, really.
I mean, like, that's fine. It matters like what you're doing, because like it sounds like you're what you said you just did, which is trying to convince them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So since you have 1 in sway, you would roll 1 dice, but you can do a couple things. You can push yourself by spending 2 stress. That would give you another dice. You could also accept a collateral die, which is a fun little thing where you get a free dice and I get to do something. I tell you what it is, so don't worry. The other thing that someone could do is to assist you. One of you would take 1 stress to give Truffle like a dice. It's powerful. Helping each other is very good. It's a lot more efficient than just like pushing yourself constantly, because turns out just doing everything by yourself is like hard.
Yeah.
If anybody wanted to like declare they're helping you with this role, they can right now.
I think that Fade is going to. I think
Okay.
there's enough, like, sort of ex-military spirit left in Zer that Z is really good at bootlicking and convincing people.
Understandable. So what is he doing?
I think. Well, the first thing that Z is doing is that, like, Z is realizing that the size of Zermek is probably a huge part of why this group seems like a threat. So Z is immediately making Warpaint take a knee so as to be less of an immediate "we'll get up and fuck you up" threat.
Okay. I think that definitely it would help. Like just having a lower profile in general as a group, like, will put them more at ease. Truffle, will you accept a collateral die? The collateral die for this, I think, would be I will tick the cover blown clock.
Huh. Should I risk that?
You can also push yourself.
I say yes, but that's because that's just me. But I crave
the
the
cover bone
chaos.
clock is the 6 die one, right?
Yep. I have the name. Can you see the name?
No.
And
I cannot see the name.
Okay, that's an unfortunate thing. How do I make it so you can see it? Roll 20. Show token name.
Oh, Michael's just gonna put in text. Michael, you know there's
No,
a text
please.
option, right?
I'd rather you not. Show nameplates to all players. Token settings. Check off show nameplate. Go to advanced tab, of course. Under player permissions, name. Gosh, this is a lot. A lot just for letting people see. Okay, let's see. Player permissions to see.
There it is.
Okay,
For cover blown
that's good to know.
and bypass patrol. Alright.
Okay,
There we go.
there we go. The little hiccups.
It's fine. We're still learning, so hey.
Yeah. So, are you going to push yourself? Are you going to... What are you doing?
So the cover blown only applies if we like hit a full rotation, right?
Yeah, if it fills up, your cover's blown, and everybody knows who you are and what you're doing, or at the very least is suspicious enough to like not let you leave. The clock has to fill for the bypass the patrol clock as well, because like it's not just one action that will get it done. Right. Yeah.
You guys think we can accept like one thing on the cover blown?
I say yes, but I live on the edge.
Alright, I'm nervous
this.
about like screwing up the first big roll.
Well, the first big roll was the engagement roll, and it didn't go too bad. Question mark.
It's okay. It went.
But yeah, are you accepting collateral? Are you pushing yourself?
I don't want to push myself right now. I'm gonna select the collateral.
Okay. I will tick this automatically. Boop, boop, boop. Multi-sided side. There we go. So yeah, if you are, let's see, that's 3 dice, I believe. So to do that, you would go to action.
Yep, sway.
Yep, sway. You're doing with 3 dice.
Which is effect? Limited, standard, or great?
I'm gonna say standard effect. There's nothing in particular strange about this.
So I roll 3 dice, and then do I add my stat to it?
No, you don't add anything. You're just rolling.
Okay.
Like if you press OK, it should roll it. Okay, and you succeeded. That 6 means that you just did it with no consequences. It is standard, so that ticks the bypass control or patrol by 2. So let me change that.
Oh, good job.
Let me think. I think they. Let's see. You said that you were. I think they asked like you. Wait. So you're doing what here? I don't get it. Like this was just a like routine traffic stop, and you just come in with like some weird excuses. What are you? Like, what are you? Is this a caravan? Like, what is your deal?
Community service supplies. Can I keep whispering that over the intercom? Or for us, at least, our stuff.
He can't hear you guys, right? Can he?
Oh, he can.
Who? No, like they're talking over a loudspeaker, and
Yeah.
I assume you're replying through loudspeaker.
I'm not.
Like you don't have control over each other's comms.
Oh, damn.
What I mean by that is that like you're speaking through like a throat mic receiver that's going to everyone in your group.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah.
You have a loudspeaker because like you have to talk to people somehow.
Do we?
Yes.
Alright, well, Truffle, it was your success roll. What do you say?
Sorry. Give me a second.
Well, no, he did the thing. He succeeded. Like,
Right.
So,
Never mind. Yes, that's
like,
this is the next
yeah,
step.
they're
Sorry.
they're still questioning you. Like, what actually are you? Like, you gave a weird excuse immediately. Like, they're confused. Like, if you have to give them more,
Limbo's gonna outright just say, yeah, community service, we need these big mechs for supplies. You never know who's gonna come out.
Okay. Do you want that to be a like you say that? Do you want that to be a roll or?
Yeah, I'll roll.
Okay. What are you gonna roll?
2, wouldn't it be? Hold on.
What are you gonna roll?
Let's see. Wouldn't it be sway?
It probably would.
Let's see. I'm reading over him again.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds like sway. So, would I just generic or action?
It would be an action.
Action.
Generic is if we like want to do something that is not an action or anything.
Okay.
Do you want? I'll ask again. Do you want a collateral die? Do you want? Does anyone want to help you? Are you going to push yourself?
So pushing myself would do what again?
You take 2 stress,
2
and you get a
stress.
die.
And a die.
Yep. By the way, Jenny, for assisting Truffle, you took 1 stress, right?
I did.
Okay, just making sure.
Okay, and for the collateral, what would I get for that one? It'd be another tick, right?
Yeah, I think I'd tick the cover blown clock again.
I think I'd like to assist rushing.
Okay, what are you gonna do?
I think I'd chime in with an excuse. So we're talking about how this is all for community service, correct?
Yes.
I think I'd chime in with it's easier to keep tabs on a giant mech than an individual person.
Smart.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and take that dice. You have how much in sway? 1?
1. So
Okay,
that would take it up to 2.
Yeah, you did the collateral, so let me move that.
Yeah, I think
That
I
makes
do
it 2
want collateral.
plus aiding. That's another 1. Are you going to push yourself?
Nah.
No. Okay.
Nah. So
Just making sure. Stunner, take 1 stress
Why did cover blown go up 1?
because another collateral die
Yeah,
was used.
I'm doing
Oh,
another
okay.
collateral. So standard effect.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So this isn't like total of dice. This is like the highest one, right?
Yep, you take the highest.
3.
Oh, damn.
2 6s,
That's
baby.
a crit.
2 6s, baby.
Well. Yeah, that
Okay.
the bypass patrol is obliterated, so let me get rid of that.
Holy shit,
that
just
just-
obliterated.
Crits give you would generally allow you to like gosh, I have to actually look that up real quick. Like the specifics for crits on actions.
Didn't expect us to get one on first session. Don't worry, I wouldn't either.
Let's see.
Yeah, what do we get for that crit, baby?
So no, that's for dire actions. Where is the crit? I'm pretty sure crit just like lets you do high. Yeah, you just do higher or better effect. So what was it that you said? It was like, yeah, this is for the blah blah blah.
Community service. We have a few mechs here because you never know who's gonna jump you. And then
Yeah,
Stunner was like, yeah, and we can keep better tabs on it.
Okay, yeah, I think they deliberate for a minute. I think through one of the cockpit, like the big bubble cockpit on the top, you can see somebody speaking into like a radio, and they come back to you and they're like, "Well, all right, that checks out, I guess. Move along."
Hella.
And they move out of your way.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
And they get back to their little like patrol area. But I assume y'all just like kind of move. Do you have anything to say to each other about that? Like that was pretty frankly smooth.
Of course, Limbo's gonna gloat. Of course he is. Like,
Okay,
I've got
gloat,
the good
do it.
ideas. Him.
Fade, despite the extremely intense AC, is sweating bullets over the fact that the community service excuse was thrown and
He's
worked.
also going to add in, I knew community service was going to help me someday. Even though I was forced into it. Ha ha!
Yeah. Yes, Snake Boy. Anyway, good job, team. Let's move on. Sorry about my fumbling a bit.
He is such a good job team kind of guy. Like 100%. Like, yep, yeah, we did it. We did it, team.
Truffle.
But
You okay
Yeah.
you okay over there, Stunner?
Yeah.
Stunner's just like, fuck, that was so scary. I've never had to lie to people before.
You can. Meanwhile, Fade is just like mumbling to herself over the fucking comms, and you can only barely hear. Just easier to keep tabs on.
Everybody's so upset that Limbo can talk. Holy shit.
Truffle's just mostly embarrassed that he fumbled a bit in front of 3 other people, but it's past.
I don't think any of us are gonna care.
But yeah,
I care.
so I think you continue on your route, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think
hope so.
the town is, like, as I said earlier, it's like pretty messed up. Everywhere that's outside of Blueberry is like pretty heavy dilapidated. The thing is that it is not like it's not uninhabited. Like you can clearly see people, but like they're more of the like squatter type, you know, the kind of people that, like, you know, they're not like from here, you know. Blueberry fares a lot better. It's obviously like the, you know, kind of better neighborhood kind of area. And I said earlier that like roads are certainly designed for like being able to be used by heavy mechs, but like it's a little bit still cramped, I think. You know, like if one wrong move and you might like accidentally like step on like a light pole or something. uh let's see, let me put y'all in the front because for whatever reason that line just gets to go in front of y'all. But eventually I think you do roll up on that community center. Since it's like on the kind of edge of Apple and Blueberry, it's like it's abandoned, but it's not, you know, in too bad of straits, because the people who live on the edge of Blueberry, like, you know, their property value would tank if, like, you know, property like right next to them was like fucked, right?
Yeah.
They hire the neighborhood kids to go and mow it, even though no one's there.
But
Damn,
at
you
the
made it
community
here fast.
at the community center, in like kind of the corner of the parking lot, is a truck.
Oh hell yeah.
Who initiates with Evergreen?
I'm gonna lean out.
I kinda wanna.
Okay, go for it.
Go right ahead. That might be fun.
Truffle notices Stunner making a step forward, and he's about to object, but then just decides to nod at the moment.
So I can just communicate through like comm to comm, correct?
If they were like on your comms, they don't like. If there is a frequency they use, you do not have it yet. They're just in a truck in a parking, or like a parking lot. Like if you wanted to talk to them, you could hop out and like say hi.
I think that would be the best. I think it'd be best to kind of hop out and head off. But I do want to emphasize, she is walking kind of like in the manner that you would with a group. Like, it's kind of obvious that she assumed people were coming with her, and she doesn't realize that they haven't.
Oh, can I come with then? Shit.
Yeah, 100%.
I like Stunner. Limbo likes Stunner, so. Back up.
I need to stay in here in case, like, something happens.
Fade is not moving.
It's only us two.
I think that Stunner would walk up and kind of go to the... What's more respectable, do you think? Passenger or driver side window?
I think if you're going to talk to the driver, you go to the driver's side.
Okay, so driver's side window, and does a little like a... God, that sounds so bad.
It sounds
That
so
totally
hollow.
worked,
I
though.
love it.
It came out perfectly over here.
Like it's like, you know, it's a truck. Like you bang on the side of a truck, it's like hollow as hell. Yeah, you you get a good look at Evergreen. Like they're kind of like he's kind of like looking at you out of the side of his eye, like just kind of like sizing you up, I guess. He's got like this slicked black hair, tan skin. I think they've got like, or he's got like a local sports team jersey on. Looks very much the part of just like a random trucker who's having a break or something. Probably like baseball cap.
Right. I think.
And I think like he kind of initiates though. I think he's like, who the hell are you supposed to be?
I'm Stunner. This is Russian.
Nice to meet you. And like he like extends hand.
I'd shake back.
Limbo's also
but
gonna shake.
What can I do you for?
You're Evergreen, right?
I think he's got this look of like just confusion, and then like 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 kind of anger comes over him. He's like, no, you're kidding me, right?
Nah.
No.
They gave me a bunch of fucking rookies again? Are you fucking me? No, I'm not fucking doing this. No. And he like sits back in his chair, like humps it. And he's like, I'm not fucking going with... No, a bunch of rookies? This is the last fucking time. I'm quit. No, hell no. What do you want to...
taking a record of all this, just like scrambling in his notebook as like stout lights emit smoke.
I think he like looks at Truffle in particular and he's like, yeah, you write this fucking down, pencil boy.
Alright, so you are Evergreen.
And then goes back to his pencil.
Can Fade hear this interaction from where Z is?
I think like, yeah, he's gotten loud enough. He's angry. He's just like venting like kind of at you, but at no one at the same time. You definitely hear it.
I'm gonna tell him not to yell at Stunner. Don't yell at the poor girl.
I think like he's in the middle of a bitch and he's just like,
I'm leaning into the window.
I'm sorry, miss. I know it's not your problem. I just don't trust you.
Can I do like a consort role of like, this is our first interaction, like you can trust me sort of dealio?
Yeah, I was gonna suggest since you're doing that, I'm gonna put down another 4-step clock.
Oh hell yeah!
This one, this one will be convince. Yeah, convince Evergreen. It sounds like you're trying to convince Evergreen to like go with you regardless.
Yep.
Yes.
And then show nameplate. There we go. Convince Evergreen. So what were you saying to Evergreen?
Just that we're all experienced mech drivers and pilots. I'm sure we can get you there. No hassle. Kind of dealio.
You're just trying to like make him like less upset. Like just like no, it's fine. We know how to drive. I passed my learner's permit.
Pretty much.
I can join in, right? I want to join in and say.
You can, but I do want to ask. It sounded like Fade was going to do something.
I did. I mostly just wanted to ask him something, and I wasn't sure if this would require a roll or not.
It depends on what you're asking. Like, just asking is not a roll. Getting information
Fair.
Yeah, getting information might be.
So I think at about this point, realizing that he's this upset, Z has climbed out of Warpaint and has taken a few steps towards Evergreen's truck and starts inquiring a bit. What do you mean, sent you rookies again? What do you mean? All we were supposed to do was get you out of here. Is there something else you had planned?
I think he's just like, yeah, I had like planned that they'd like send an escort of actual goddamn pilots and not some randos they picked up off the street. No offense, miss. And then like, kind of gives an aside to Stunner.
Truffles is like very irritated at the thought of being called a rookie, even though he kind of is. This is only like his third like spy kind of mission.
If you want to like deliberate, it's 3 rookies and a pencil pusher.
Yeah. He's still pushing
But
that pencil pretty hard.
it sounds, Fade, like you were about to, like, maybe lay into him.
A little bit.
If you want to yell at him and demand he fucking, like, cool his shit, you can.
Like, honestly though, like, all you're doing is leaving. What do you need talented pilots for? You don't need talent. You don't need somebody to break stuff. You don't need us to steal stuff. You just need to get out of here, right? Like, you don't need much else from us, yeah? Well, so all you gotta do is get out of here with your rookies, and you don't gotta see us again.
That sounds like a command. Like you're commanding him.
Yeah, you know, you're right.
Okay. So
Truffle
let's
is very
see.
worried as he starts to hear this.
Things are getting heated. You're yelling. Voices are being raised. So
fucked
Fade,
out of my roll.
you have one in command.
I do.
Do you want to push yourself?
I don't think anyone is going to stand with me screaming at this man, and I also think that, like, this not going relatively easily and just the anger that Evergreen is throwing around has stressed her out a bit, so yeah, I think that this is going to end up being a push myself.
I can always add in
Okay.
that look at my car, because it does have the recognizable appearance quirk. So it's like, hey,
Although,
I do mech fighting. I
Okay,
race,
you're-
idiot.
You're trying to leverage, like, your reputation to, like, help Fade out, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, yeah,
Although,
that's definitely works.
what was it called? Collateral die?
Yeah, collateral die.
What would that entail?
Let me think. I think I'd give. Let's see. What would it be? Let me look at my list of collateral die.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
I got good feelings. I'm excited.
I'm just irritated, man. Complications on a goddamn escort.
I think if you did a
Truffle
collateral
thinks he
die,
wants it special.
if you did a collateral die, that would be like Fade kicking Evergreen's, like, truck and causing damage to the truck, like unintended damage.
Okay, then no.
Okay. Like, this wouldn't break the truck, it would just make, like, the truck, like, getting out a little bit more of a hassle.
I like that I have that strong of a kick.
It's
but
it's
I'm
more that,
not
like,
gonna
the
do
the
it.
truck is not in good, like, straits. It's
It's a
very much,
shitty
like,
truck.
overused.
What's that gif
Wow,
of, like,
okay.
the Russian dude saying, like, these cars are shit, and he kicks it and it falls apart?
Yeah, that's sure, essentially that would happen. But yeah, if you don't want that collateral, that means let's see. You've pushed yourself, you have some assistance, that would be 3 dice, I believe. This would probably be risky standard.
Alright, let me do that then.
Make sure to mark stress.
Me? Yeah.
Yeah, everybody who either helped or pushed.
Okay, I've got 1 stress.
I haven't
So far
simulated
the
anything
6s
quite
have
yet.
been rolling, so let's see if your luck holds out.
Oh boy.
You said 3, yeah?
Yep, command risky standard 3.
Well, 5.
Okay,
5's
that
good.
that's not bad. That'll tick this by 2. So let me get that done. But you get a consequence. A risky consequence. Rubs chin.
This is harrowing.
I love this. It's exciting. I love these clocks.
I can't believe that I'm getting badmouthed by a fucking trucker driving a piece of garbage.
I mean, hey, trucker, smuggler, person, would be a good consequence for this.
You hear some gruff about it later. We get gruff.
Yeah, maybe. Let me think.
I just had a thought, actually.
Yeah.
What's that?
What if the consequence is that he's so ticked off that he got fucking screamed at immediately that he just rolls up his window and he isn't listening to us again right now?
No, he has to be. He's still like willing. The thing, like, because like the clock's still there. Like
Okay, fair.
only if you really fucked up would it like just like be unable. I'm thinking like maybe social consequences. Like they're gonna like listen to you and there's like weight to what you're saying, but like his employers are gonna hear about it afterwards. The actual like real whole thing would be like you'll take like a -1 trust with the cradle after this.
That's fine.
That's not too bad. You can gain a lot of trust and lose a lot of trust pretty easily.
That's fine.
Is that yeah, that is the consequence. Yep. You can resist this consequence. Resisting involves one of your main stat blocks. You can see like the D next to them. I would consider this a resolve
Okay.
resistance. When you resist a consequence as a pilot action, you roll that many dice, and then you take 6 minus the highest dice in stress.
I don't think that's worth it.
Yeah, you have
No,
you have
this
big
early,
stress
no.
already.
That's fine. Okay, so I will make a note.
It's only 1 anyway, so we can always get that back up. It's whatever.
-1 trust.
I'm
There
gonna
you go.
play risky, but not that risky.
Okay, yeah, I think like his response is just like kind of to flounder for a bit. Like, this rookie is like insult. Are you kidding me? Like, I did not sign up for this today, and I think he's like, just like, are you out of your minds? Like, look, you have big machines. So does everyone else. These other folks, like, you've seen some of the people around here. You've seen like this is not. I can't believe this. You have to understand. We are in the middle of a war zone. Everywhere on this fucking whole planet, war zone. Like, sticking my whole neck out for a bunch of like rookies. No, I can't do that. Are you kidding me?
Stick
Yeah, I
Fade
think.
bad.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I just think Fade's real mad at that one.
Fade like taps as like a signal on his microphone directed to Fade, just like step back, please.
You mean Truffle? Truffle says that.
Yeah, not he doesn't say anything. He just like makes a tap to like snap her out for a second so that she doesn't say anything else.
I'm gonna.
I figure you'd need to like fill the silence if like you're gonna get Fade to back off.
I'm gonna
Okay, maybe.
I'm gonna elbow Faye and be like, "You can always use your mech to pick him up."
But okay, is Rushing saying that like
Whispered, hushed over.
okay,
to
it's not
Faye.
like making a
No,
a threat to him.
No.
But considering like
indirect.
you like initiated all this, Stunner, do you think that you'd probably be able to get like a word in edgewise? Like, try to mediate it. It like Stunner seems like the sort of character who'd be like, oh, hey, try to cool it down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that kind of
Cause like I'm gonna warn you now that if you don't mediate this, Fade is at like fists balled together, about to throw hands levels.
Golly.
And I think rushing would back Z up. Or Zer up. He's
Okay,
always
listen. It doesn't matter. We're here, and we're all confident in each other, and I'm sure if you share that confidence with yourself, everything is gonna be perfectly fine. Alrighty?
Do you want
Also,
this?
they're probably not sending another squad.
Stunner, do you want this to? That'll be like if you want that statement to Fade. That could certainly be like assisting. But Stunner, do you want that to be an action? What you're doing right now?
Yeah, I was wanting a consort, but I think it's too fucking late for that.
No, that sounds like a consort. You're like leveling with them,
Okay.
Like Sway is like kind of chumming up to their like sensibilities. Consort is just like kind of like meeting as equals, kind of.
Yeah.
you're trying to say like, hey, we're all in this together. Like, the only way we're getting out of this is if blah blah blah. It's a like, this is like a job.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that sounds like a consort. Do you want to push yourself?
okay, so
I think I want to.
I have a question real quick.
Go ahead.
So with stress, you only get a scar when you reach 10, right?
No, when you reach 9 and fill up the bar, you get a scar.
Okay, so like
Uh,
the threes in between don't do anything for you.
no,
In
that's
that
just a
sense.
nice way of like showing you like because scars is right under it, and you can only get 4 scars before basically getting kicked out. That's just a way of visualizing and like giving you nice little like sections, right?
Right. Okay.
Like it goes from light to black to say it's getting worse.
Okay. So that would be 2 stress to push myself.
Yes. Yep.
I kind of think I want to
Okay.
assist you, if that's okay.
Sure, I suppose you could. It sounded like Fade was assisting, but
Oh, was?
I mean, it doesn't matter
I
who
th-
assists, just so long as whoever's going to like take the stress for assisting.
I think that like I think that I've taken a bit too much stress to throw in another assist so far. Not that it's a lot of stress, but enough that I don't want to take more. So I think that like in the literal terms, that comment almost comes out of their mouth, but Z realizes that Z's getting stressed out about this and just does not say it.
Right.
So Truffle can step in.
Yeah. So how do you help Truffle?
So this is consent. So this is just like mingling.
Yeah.
Yeah, Truffle like finding like he's still been in the wheel and he doesn't quite want to get out of it, but like he like he like opens one of the bubble sides and like sticks his head out so he can still be visible. And it's like, yeah, ultimately it matters just as long as we get this mission done. You give us the guidelines and we'll get you out of here safely.
Okay. Do you want to accept a collateral die?
First, I want to know how many dice I have
You have
before
3.
I just start accepting.
Right. I think it's 3. You have 1 consort, 1 for assisting, and 1 for pushing. If you just wanted to do that, that's fine. It would still be risky standard, I think.
What would this collateral die do for me, or do consequence wise?
That is a question, huh? I don't know. Hmm.
Can it be if the roll is bad, it lowers the clock on for convincing Evergreen?
No,
It doesn't
because
work
it's
like
going towards just doing that.
okay.
Maybe I'll make a new clock. I will give you a new clock,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that clock will be Evergreen Bales.
Oh yes, I love that.
How big is this clock? Am I allowed to
The
ask
clock will be a 4-step clock.
Okay.
that? Okay, and will that just give us the clock, or will that
Uh,
just?
it'll like it'll introduce the clock, and I think tick it once.
Would the clock be introduced otherwise?
Yes. If like other things go bad.
You're getting 4 dice.
I think I don't want to take a collateral.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
3 dice it is.
I will delete this. Okay, so that is a 3 dice risky standard consort. You did it. Good job.
And I take 2
Ooh.
stress?
Yeah, for pushing yourself, yes.
Yeah, let me check my
Okay.
stress.
You'll take the stress for pushing yourself no matter what. So that fails. You have convinced Evergreen, so let me delete this. I think like Evergreen like just like sits for a bit and is like fucking yeah, I guess yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. This is look, you just got to understand this stuff's dangerous. All right. I'll just impress that and I'll leave it at that. Am I following you or am I leading the way?
Out of character, what do you guys think so far?
I am large I think that makes a decent. I think that makes
you
a
are cutting
decent.
out bad for me.
Same.
Well, that's good. Cool. I
You're
guess
back
it's
now.
probably my push to talk key.
You're back now.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it's working in capturing an OBS fine.
Okay.
Anyway, Robot Big probably makes a good leading point.
Yeah, I was about to say it wouldn't be smart for Evergreen to be in the forefront of all this. Probably somewhere
Yeah.
in the middle.
That's what I was thinking.
Since it
middle.
is an escort.
But what my question is, we're going to probably have to go past these road patrol dudes again, and I feel like it's gonna be hell to say like, yo, why do you guys just kind of let this dude squeeze in between you?
Community service.
He's the community that we're servicing.
I will say that if you just like encounter them again, they will not be like the suspicion on you has like left. Like unless something else introduces suspicion, and just having a truck with you won't really do much.
Okay, so yeah, I think having it like 2 in front, 2 in the back, sort of dealio. We do have, I think Fade should go in the front, and Truffle in the back, and a Stunner and Limbo on either front or back. Just kind of a, small, medium, large.
That totally works. Is that agreeable to everyone else?
Sounds good to me.
I think that makes sense.
I find this agreeable.
All right, and I get to debut my newest creation, truck.
It hasn't shown up for me yet. Give me a second.
Oh,
It's beautiful.
it's
I
not
love
green.
it.
It's not green.
Dang.
Shut
It's
up.
not.
It's wonderful.
It's gorgeous.
It's green if you're colorblind.
Let me move y'all a little bit.
Okay.
Oh no,
Um,
that's not out. That's not into the woods yet.
No,
I
it's
mean,
not.
Hey,
Stuff has to happen.
can I ask this dude something while we're walking?
Yeah, he was gonna bring stuff up, like on the way. But if you want to like talk to him first, go ahead.
So this seemed relatively like easy. Why did you need the escort? Is it because of your truck, or is there something we don't know?
Do you? He kind of like, you can see him through like his windshield. He's kind of like pinching his nose for a sec. Do you know what like Anodyne's whole deal is? Oh, by the way, I didn't mention it, but he gave y'all the frequency for his radio, so he can get patched in.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, he asked you like, do you not know what Anodyne does and is all about?
Rushy's gonna chime in with, he doesn't want to get jumped. He's got shit. He's gonna get
All right.
jumped.
Look, I'll do you this courtesy. I mean, look, you're already doing a job for me. I'm not gonna like lie. I'm a smuggler. There's a lot of smugglers. We smuggle things. We move stuff from place to place. Things that people like the House of Smiling Ashes doesn't want us moving. And you're starting to like see those like same 3 patrols kind of walking by. Like they look at you, but they don't really give you a second look. And he like, eyes them and he's like them.
Hello.
But I think he asked like, so I know I called you rookies and all, but how long have y'all been doing this?
Rushy's just gonna
With-
say today.
With
This.
these people or overall?
That doesn't make me feel much better. I think this is before Rushing says today, and then Rushing just comes in with like today, and he's just like,
Look,
Okay,
we're
I wasn't
almost
wrong.
there. We're almost there.
look, no, I'm not just gonna hop out the fucking truck halfway there. All right, I'm in it to win it, but you gotta understand, I'm real nervous.
You and me both,
Hey,
you and me both, buddy.
Hey, I got a little unhinged back there. I want to apologize. It's ex-military blood. I don't do well with disrespect.
Oh yeah, same here. Ex-military. I ain't gonna ask what unit you're from. Nobody. Word to the wise. Don't ask too many questions in Anodyne. But hey, we got that in common.
Yeah, just apologies for that. I try to normally keep my cool about that.
Yeah, no worries. I got pretty shitty there too. But hey, after all this is done, like y'all have, I'll be entirely honest. You don't drive like rookies. Though your vehicles kind of like look a little rookie-ish. No offense. I'm driving a fucking junker here. I have no place to speak, but I think while he's like saying that, uh, you start to hear some sounds over the buildings, kind of like the southern buildings over here. Let me move you back to show that a little bit. You hear some like commotion coming from like over here, and then let me grab you. All right, I have the pan view selected.
That's okay.
But
Sure.
and since I know that I have to actually click this so you can see the nameplate. Okay. Something smashes through like the nearest building in like Point Cherry at y'all. Like it rains rubble and like debris from several buildings all over the truck, and everyone's just like, oh fuck.
Wait. I want to shield that.
I wasn't actually. I was gonna make that a consequence. If you want to shield that, you can. The consequence would have been making that clock for breakdown for the truck. But if you want to shield that, you can go ahead. I would make that a vehicle resistance is a little bit different to pilot resistance, because instead of rolling anything, you simply use as many quirks as like the stat tells you, essentially.
Oh, so that's what that Q is. Okay.
Yeah, and since you're basically shielding like a rain of rock and rubble, I would call that
Maneuver?
I call that a prowess, or not prowess. Sorry, that's expertise or acuity. Acuity is more like long distance and precise stuff, so I'm gonna say expertise.
Okay, so
So the thing about this is that if you defend somebody, you have a move for this, right? Bodyguard.
bodyguard, yes.
Yeah, bodyguard. If I remember correctly, if you defend someone, you use one less quirk down to a minimum of 1, right?
From what I
I'm on your
remember you
sheet
saying.
here.
When you
Yeah,
protect someone, add +1 dice to your resistance roll or exhaust 1 fewer quirk for vehicle resistance.
Right, and then when you gather info to anticipate possible threats in the current situation, you get +1 effect. Yeah, you only have to expend 1 quirk. What quirk are you going to expend? This essentially represents what you're doing to, like, what aspect of your vehicle you're using to like keep them safe. You got several that would work here, I think. Rooted and stable, definitely. Military workhorse could also work. Let me also reveal what's bashed through the wall while you deliberate on that. Bip. It's very you recognize this mech, Stunner.
God damn it.
God damn. I don't want to zoom in on Jackal.
But first, let's get that scene of you protecting
I
Evergreen.
think it would be rooted and stable. So I need to mark rooted and stable?
Yes. So show us what you actually do. Like, show us how you resist that. Like, how do you leap into action?
I think, like, seeing the rubble kind of fly, I think it would be kind of like, and kind of almost kind of like a pseudo T pose, but like one arm going out and the other one going over kind of the chest area and the head, kind of extending those shields out from the arms as it is. And since I've put rooted and stable, I think she would also try and move the legs of the mech to kind of like the front one's kind of squatted down and the back one's like more outstretched, kind of like propping it up almost.
I see.
So I just do that.
Yeah, you just fucking do that. Straight up.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
hell
Yeah,
yeah.
like when you resist, you basically just get to tell me how you resist the stuff. But yeah, you juxtapose yourself between like Jackal and Evergreen, and Evergreen just like, oh my fucking god, keep them off me, and starts to like kind of gun it. Which these two clocks are, one is Jackal, dealing with Jackal. The other is Evergreen escape.
Oh, I love this. I hate how
So
big
you name-
Jackals is, but that's part
So
of the course.
to explain Jackal, let me get my little description out I got. So this person, Jackal, is piloting a very angular robot. It's the Type A custom. You can see like the name emblazoned on one of the arms. It is a light mech, so it's like smaller and lighter looking than like most of y'all's, but it's got bright silvery metal with sharp black edges. The head is shaped like a jackal. It's got a triangular torso with a series of jump jets lining the hip, and it has two wing-like extensions from the back shoulders. It's very sleek limbs. They taper almost to a point, but like have for like the feet, they obviously have like sort of stabilizer feet. But for the arms, they taper down to where one has a three-pronged claw, and the other just ends in a hole for a built-in arm cannon. And Jackal picks itself up off the ground, and like just kind of like looks like through the like visor on the head. You can tell that it's like looking straight at you, Stunner, and it's like, oh, someone he blares over his loudspeaker. It's been a while. Can't believe you're back from the dead. And then like over that same loudspeaker like turns back like to what you now see beyond like the building that was destroyed is like these three scouts have like intercepted a group of other mechs and are like currently fighting them. Jackal was apparently like looks to have been part of like the folks fighting the house's pawns. And in that same moment, you also hear the retort of a huge cannon in the distance, which is coming from this, a Rook weapons platform.
Oh fuck.
This was the thing that was hiding in the sands earlier. And it is like a I deleted it. No, come back.
Hey tip, you can
Problem solved, everybody. It's handled.
you can
Yeah,
also
here's the Rook.
you can also click and drag and select multiple things, so you could just
Yeah, I got that, but
okay.
yeah, here's the Rook. It is let me get a description out for this thing real quick. Yeah, the Rook is it's a big, thick, blocky mech. Now that you actually see it, like without the sands just obscuring it, it's got this like wide, curved torso with a machine gun mounted in the rib cage, like sort of the quote unquote rib cage area. It's got like armored log-like arms and big, heavy, blocky hands, trunk-like legs and big, wide, circular feet, and a circular head with like kind of like a parapet-like crown, sort of like castle towers, and a big like visor, forward-facing like cockpit window. And on each, integrated into each shoulder is this like massive, like two massive fucking cannons, and it is like firing into Jackal's squad over here, having limited effect. But right now, Jackal's like right in front of you, and seems to be mostly focused on the Talos Nebula, right?
Yes.
So Jackal is special. Jackal is a rival, and rivals get special things. When you look at the list of rival moves, they just straight up get to do shit. So I think the very first thing Jackal's going to do is going to inflict a consequence just for free on Stunner, on your mech. He's going to like reach his one of his arms out, and that three-pronged like claw like shoots out. And if you don't do anything, it will latch onto you. Do you resist this?
What? Okay, so what does resisting this entail? Exactly.
You will not get whatever consequence it is that this does. The consequence I would put, I think, would be, well, one is the narrative that you are like connected to Jackal. The other thing would be, I think you'll get the level 2 harm crunched as it crunches one of your legs.
Okay. And is there more consequence for failing a resist?
No, you can't fail a vehicle resist. This would cost you. Let me think. What would this kind of resistance look like? Well, actually, you can tell me. How would you resist this? Like, how would you keep yourself from getting crunched? Like, it could be things like getting out of the way, or putting a more stable, like more strong part of your body there instead.
Would I be able to use vehicle gear for this kind of situation?
Yeah. In fact, this will be the actual first time we debut any gear. What were you thinking of debuting? Armor?
Let me see.
The other thing we didn't technically do was declare vehicle load at the start, or person load. It hasn't mattered too much, but we all know like what our vehicle loads are, like light, medium, medium, heavy. That just dictates like how much stuff you can have on. But what were you thinking of declaring? Armor, it should be mentioned, allows you to resist any vehicle damage that you would accrue normally.
Okay.
Just one. Once per mission, it gets restored no matter what by the next mission. And vehicles can have several instances of armor. They just have to like use 2 load per armor.
Theoretic. So it's aiming at one of my legs, right?
Yeah.
Theoretically, because I'm not sure how destruction tools could work in this sense, but I'm wondering if I could like.
Oh,
say
you can't really resist. Actually, hold up. I think there's technically something you can do. Let me see. I'm pretty sure there's a room for junking, where you can quote unquote resist by junking one of your slots. Yeah, vehicles can also sacrifice any gear that takes up 1 load in place of armor. When this is done, any load slots that gear occupied are replaced by junk. This indicates that the sacrificed gear does not function but still occupies the load. Junk slots are unavailable until you spend materiel to uninstall them. You can like declare something and have it be junked if you want to.
And that would be the only way to like actually use something like destruction tools.
Yeah, this is resisting something. If like using those tools would probably be like an action, but this is a resistance. When you resist, you can only use quirks, armor, or junking.
I think armor would be the best in this case to use.
Okay.
Rather than using something like junking.
Yeah, so go ahead and mark that 2 armor. And then mark on your sheet that you have used the armor. I think like what this looks like is like that grapple hook essentially like launches out and like grabs onto the leg, but I think it strips that armor off instead of like actually grabbing onto anything like tangible, like just the metal shaves off because it wasn't meant to like stay there, right? It's one of those kinds of
Right.
things where like it's meant to get hit and then just fall off because otherwise it's just like useless like slag. But yeah, that was essentially their opening move, and it got thwarted immediately. Is anybody responding?
Total's just like,
It should be understood that the mission does not require you to defeat Jackal. You can simply hold Jackal off and escape.
I think that would be best considering, like, looking at Jackal's stupid clock.
Right. So,
hate
like,
Jackal's clock.
what are you going to try to do to do that?
Well, it would be best for some of us to obviously continue off with Evergreen to make sure he gets out safely. I'd say at least one person with
Fade, like, immediately feels vindicated for their suspicions of Stunner the moment somebody recognizes her specifically, and
Ooh,
just
right.
kind of defaults herself to sticking with Evergreen because Z does not want to jeopardize the mission just because someone has baggage.
Right.
Does
That
that
fits
mean
so
since Fade was violent, I can also mark one? Or like, how does that work?
No, remember you have to struggle because of your beliefs.
Okay.
And we're not going to talk about like struggling until the end of the session.
Okay.
okay.
Like we'll go over it and we'll ask our like questions essentially.
then hell. I'm gonna,
It's good that you keep it in mind though because it makes it more interesting.
I'm gonna,
Yeah, I'm keeping some stuff in my head.
I'm gonna run over because, again, Limbo does think Stunner's a good person. Stunner
Uh-huh.
does. I mean, Limbo does like Stunner for betting on him.
Okay, so what are you doing? All right, you're leaping to Stunner's aid.
Yeah, I'm going
Are
to.
you like just holding Jackal off in some way? Like, are you you can declare like gear for that?
Hell yeah, I can
Uh,
declare gear. Let's see, what kind of gear can I declare? I've got all this gear.
Yeah, you have a lot of toys you can play with.
I have a lot of gear that I have to
Let's see.
reread over.
Let's see. Let's see. Fine shield and force field are certainly fine for something like that. You could declare an unusual weapon and like have that be some sort of like bolo type gear, like or something like an EMP type weapon to try to like stun Jackal.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to simply like hurt Jackal, you have plenty of weapons.
Yeah, I'd like to actually just. Can I hurt him with the fine shield or force field by ramming into him with after like I jump? I use like my car's ability to transform to jump up and like just bash him as hard as I can with the mech using the
And
shield.
you're using a shield for that?
Yeah, shield bash him.
I think if you were going to use a shield, that would be limited.
Limited, okay.
Because a shield isn't necessarily used in that way. And Jackal's like no pushover. In
Yeah.
fact, Jackal is from a squad that is 2 tiers above you.
Holy shit.
So anything you're doing is against a machine that's much better and against a pilot that is much better. So doing that would certainly be limited. Most of the things you could do are limited unless you like have kind of an up. If you wanted to help that along, you can do an action called a setup action, where you set up someone else or even your own self to do something later. And if you succeed on that setup action, you are allowed to like take a couple things like better position, better effect, or more dice. So if you're like trying to maybe give Stunner a setup action to like, or if you're trying to set up an action for someone else to do something, you could like tie Jackal up using that shield.
Mm-hmm. And how would I do that one now?
That would be a roll.
Just
Let
a
me look
straight
up something
roll.
real quick for setup action.
Okay.
When you make a setup action, you're weakening an obstacle or empowering an ally. With the success, any squad mates that follow through will have improved position or increased effect. You choose based on the nature of your ploy.
And if it fails, no effect.
If it fails, you get consequences.
Okay, what can I ask for the consequences?
No, I think that's based on the nature of what goes wrong, right?
Okay, all right.
Uh,
I wouldn't want to risk that. Poor stunner. I don't
but
want.
if you're still like doing that like jump shield thing,
Yeah.
if you're gonna jump, would you want to declare or debut your jump jets,
Hell yeah.
your
Okay.
fine mobility suite?
My fine mobility suite. So I just mark for one or both. That'd be two actually. So
It is
both.
both because it is two.
And
And
I would
then-
also do fine shield or force field, correct?
Yeah, it should be
Okay.
mentioned that when it is fine, it essentially acts as like a force multiplier. When it's fine, it's just better than normal.
Okay.
So like the fact that it's fine allows you to like mess with him, but it's still not enough to like give you increased effect.
Okay. Well,
uh,
I'm messing with them.
Right. Okay, what would that look like? You choose the stat you're rolling. To me it sounds like a battle.
Yeah, it does, since it is close quarters.
Right. It could also be like maneuver because you're like jumping into the fray.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it really doesn't matter which one I choose because I have one in each whenever I'm in mech form.
Right.
So I guess just one die.
Right, but it's still important what you do, what you roll.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to push yourself?
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'll put 2 stress in right now. Hell yeah.
Is anyone aiding this setup roll? Or this setup action?
This is to aid me, so I can't aid that, right?
No.
I'd say you're like yeah. It doesn't make too much sense
Yeah.
for you to be able to aid your own aid.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I don't know if like Truffle would like be in the position to help right now, if he'd still just be like stunned at like the fact that some big towering mech just popped in.
It's not actually towering.
It's
It's
small.
like it's technically taller than like the wheel, but it is a light mech.
Well, it's at base it's much fancier than anything he's seen. So I don't know if he'd be stunned or if he'd like try to help in some form.
But yeah, if you're don't mark stress because when you push yourself in your mech, you activate a quirk.
Oh, okay.
Yep. You have a bunch. If you're jumping like this, it makes sense for shifting booster to work.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what do you think that would be it?
Yeah, shifting booster sounds
Loudly
fun.
intimidating would also work for like, getting Jackal off of stunner. It's up to you though. It's essentially you narrating what you're like doing here.
I think shifting booster makes the most sense since I am jumping up and
Right.
like.
It's more about
actually
the
using-
boosting and less about the noise.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I'm not trying to scare him. I'm trying to just beat him up.
Okay. Yeah. So you're pushing yourself. Is anybody aiding?
So yeah, you are like jumping at Jackal?
Hell yeah. I'm gonna shield bash him.
Maybe
Fuck
I'll
Jackal.
drive by. Maybe I'll like once I snap back in, like do a quick drive around to see if I can like get his attention briefly. Unless he's like permanently affixed on stunner.
Not necessarily. You can probably like get them to look your way for a moment while kind of like tandem, like, hey, look over here. Uh-oh, here comes this motherfucker from above. Dividing his attention in 3 different places.
Yeah, I guess like move myself from behind the truck to like more forward past it, just to see if I can like divert his eyes for a second.
Right. So you go like around here.
Yeah, I want to like stay within range of the truck since I don't want to lose it, but I also saw that Warpaint is like right next to it, and Warpaint can probably handle anything sudden.
Understandable. Yeah, I think will you accept a collateral die?
Oh,
I'd still mark a stress for that, right?
Yes.
what does that entail?
Or no, that's actually hold up. Yeah, that is a stress. Stress is for aiding no matter what. A collateral die. You're in Blueberry right now.
Mm-hmm.
You'll do damage to Blueberry.
Mm-hmm.
Your jump jets will like
Let's
like
see,
you
so-
overload your jump jets and like it'll burn shit.
Okay, so I have 1 dice for using
Well,
battle.
we can't accept that because we can't. Can we not accept that because then
You can
we'll
no, you can
damage
do that.
Kubernetes?
The rule of engagement is not to do it, but like they'll be pissed about it probably, but you can still do it.
We've already
So-
got -1 trust.
And then, okay, so I have 1 for my own move, another for using the quirk, and
Mhm.
then a third for Truffle helping out.
This is a lot for a setup action. Do you want this to just be a straight up action?
Yeah.
Uh,
I just want to straight up beat the shit out
Yeah,
of
actually,
Jackal
like,
for
because of
having
that
a cool
collateral-
mech.
for the collateral, I'll take off a die but give you improved effect. How does that sound?
Okay. So,
So
I
you'll
go
have
for
you'll have
2,
3 die.
3 die.
3 die. I think this is desperate. No, your position isn't desperate. I'll say you're risky standard right now.
Okay, so I do battle, risky, standard, and 3 die.
Mhm.
Okay, well, a 5
You
is
get some consequences.
that's okay.
But
Hell
you
yeah.
were the point of this was to like distract, right?
Yeah, just
Like,
kind of
did you
want to
hurt Jackal or distract Jackal?
pushing down and hurting him would be the best case scenario here.
Okay, so I would tick Jackal 2.
Oh yeah, fuck you, Jackal.
You like just like fire up your jump jets like so fucking fierce, and that it leaves like a small growing fire in your wake, and you jump over at Jackal. Jackal's attention is divided in a couple different directions, but regardless, Jackal sees you coming like early enough that he can mostly get out of the way. But I think your shield smashes down on like the cable of that grapple hook as it's like coming back, and like essentially snaps off the grapple hook part.
Hell yeah.
The consequence, though, is I think Jackal is going to Jackal's first is going to say like, what would this fucker say?
Cheater!
No. He'd definitely be like, I never heard of a 3-way dance, but hey, here we go, and like levels his fucking cannon at you and takes a shot.
Oh shit. What's that do for me?
This would do the level 2 harm penetrated, I think.
So
Are you going to take that or are you going to resist it?
how would I resist? What would the resist roll be? Just straight.
I think that would be expertise. You'd have to spend 2 quirks to do it.
You can only use a quirk once per battle, right?
Yep. If it's marked, you cannot mark it again, and if you mark all of your quirks, you get a point of breakdown and you're forced out of the scene.
Yeah, I think 2 at the moment may be a little much, but I don't know. It's your choice.
Just to make sure you know, you'll notice next to the like damage that there is like some effects on it, like less effect, -1d, and need help. When you take a level 2 harm, you will be rolling 1 less dice for actions that are related to that damage.
Wait, hold on. Where are you seeing this at, real quick?
On your sheet,
Okay, I'm on
underneath
the sheet.
your 98 here,
is
is damaged.
Okay.
Damage is for mech hurt.
Okay, make her.
For if you take damage, you like write it in one of these, and from then on, if until you get it fixed, anything that like any roll you do that would like be related to the damage gets one less dice, or if it's like level 1 harm, it's less effect. If you have a level 3 harm, you have to push yourself or be aided to do basically any roll.
Okay.
So if you take this damage, you're rolling 1 less dice for some rolls.
Mm-hmm. I guess loudly intimidating and lightweight materials to remove some quirks. Loudly intimidating being like, oh shit, I freak him out a little bit by revving the engine so he slips up and hits something else.
You do the equivalent of like screaming when someone's going to like do a layup.
Scream with my stupid mech.
Right, you rev real hard and like
Okay, I'm gonna
yeah,
make
if you want to do
those.
that, and lightweight materials is like you like twist, you probably twist like the mech away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you twist the mech away and like rev real fucking hard, and he's just like, Jesus, what? And the cannon shot goes wide. Good job. Fade, are you still escorting Evergreen?
Oh, fucking, I'm having problems with my push to talk key. I'll have to change it in a second. Anyway, absolutely.
Okay. Let's see. Are you trying to like? What would I say here? I think that the road has become like so like heavily rubbled that Evergreen's having a lot of trouble getting through. Do you do anything about that, or do you like just like try to let Evergreen just keep going?
I think that I'm gonna give him the common courtesy of asking him over comms if he's chill with me picking up his junker, and if he is, I am going to personally escort it by hand.
I think Evergreen just like starts huffing and like what are you what? Until like a fucking like that same cannon shot that went wide over over Limbo like smashes into like a building like almost right next to Evergreen, and then Evergreen's fucking like truck just starts gunk 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 gunk, you know, fucking over a bunch of rubble, and it's like, Jesus fuck, sure, do it, anything, fuck.
Hell yeah.
That's about all the answer I need, buddy. Thanks a bunch.
Gosh, I think that for escorting it in this fashion, I might ask that this be an action, particularly maneuver. You are doing something that like you can crush a lot of the stuff in there. Is the like the problem?
Fair point.
So
Definitely true.
so I'm like, if you'd allow me to like ask or tell you like what you're probably gonna roll is probably maneuver. But you of course like roll whatever you want.
So what I was thinking is that like I'm probably going to need some degree of maneuver to pick this thing up without causing grave damage to the truck.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, immediately after picking it up, I'm going to essentially debut the mobility suite of war paint, because I'm gonna switch a lever, and those heels on the mech are gonna just fucking rocket forward, and I'm gonna try to get out of here ASAP.
Okay, I like it. If you want it to be maneuver, that 100% works, because I think the important part here is like, it depends on like what you want important here. Do you want to like go fast, kick ass, or do you want to like not crush this truck?
I want this truck to not be harmed.
Okay, that would be maneuver, I think. Yeah. Do you want to push yourself?
For this one, yeah.
Yeah, I think your intricate controls are practically made for this.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Like the idea of them, as you said before, was that like there's a fucking power glove in there that like has intricate like hand controls for only one of the hands.
I mean, like, technically there are two gloves, it's just that I only have two
Right.
arms and I need to control the rest of the robot.
Right. Yeah, that would totally work. Collateral die?
What is it?
Let's see. What would it be? You would gain the attention of the rook.
Not worth it.
No,
Not worth
that thing
it.
is big.
Not for the rook.
Okay. Is anybody aiding?
I don't think I can.
I think everyone's just dealing with Jackal. I think that right now the only person focusing on completing this mission is me, because I am the one person who was like, "God damn it! I knew it. You're a risk. I'm out of here."
Well, I'm like still around. I just like drove into this to
Yeah,
like give a distraction.
I think Truffle could potentially go on over there.
I
It
don't know
makes
how it helped
sense.
though. I'm in a big wheel.
I think you've helped out enough in the last little moment that like you're. The thing is that all of your attention is on Jacko right now. It's definitely not on Evergreen. So I think Fate is on Zerone.
I may have made a mistake.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Yeah, I'd call that a risky. No, no one's eyes are on you. Controlled. Yeah, controlled standard. Actually, hold up. No, you're doing a lot here. Controlled great. Controlled great 3. No, not 3 dice. Was it? You have. No, you have. Wait, hold up. I was wrong. This wouldn't be maneuver. This would be manipulate. Right? Like if manipulate is about moving like intricate like parts to try to like do stuff with the outside world.
You know what? I can see where you're coming from, especially concerning the fact that I am like using the very very dainty fancy hold things with my real human hands controls,
Right.
while also trying to make sure that it does not get damaged when I take off like a fucking rocket.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I for some reason thought maneuver was manipulate. Yeah, this would be if you're good with it, manipulate, which brings the dice up to 3, I believe. Which honestly, this is probably the best roll you're probably gonna get all day. Controlled great 3 dice for manipulate.
Oh fuck.
Good enough?
6, 5, and 5.
Sure enough. Sure enough.
You didn't need my help this time.
Yeah, that will tick the Evergreen escape clock by 3.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
So halfway there. You like deftly.
Just to be sure, real quick.
Yeah.
So, in having done that, I marked 2 stress. Do I also mark the intricate
No.
controls and the?
You do not mark stress for pushing yourself in a mech.
Right, mech.
You just mark the quirk. But you put your hand in that like horrible little glove, and just like you can hear the metal whine, but it's not like a crushing whine. It's just like a metal on metal thing.
It
And
sounds
then
like a
the
stock
two of
sound.
you, the two of you just fucking like the hell out of there. You leave a lot of the rubble behind, and most of the way is like pretty clear. Let me move you back a little bit, actually. Nope, I don't want this line. No, not the line.
Just get rid of it. Just get rid of the line. We don't
I
need
should
it
get
no
rid of
more.
the line.
We've evolved past the need for line.
Let me put you to the front here. Yeah, you rocket out of the way. Largely, you're out of the combat zone, but you're not out of the clear yet. Because I think Jackal notices that you are taking that truck, and those like hip placed jump jets start to rev up, and then they like kind of rise off the ground. And you realize, oh fuck, this motherfucker is like practically flying, and is about to rocket right towards you, Fade, and Evergreen. Does anybody do anything to like intercept?
Yeah, I wanna just.
What's
I think let's let Truffle do something, because Truffle hasn't really done an actual
okay?
action
So
yet.
how? So wait, what's the missile coming from?
There's not
Is
a
it-
missile. Jackal is
Okay.
rising off the ground and is like poised to rocket towards Evergreen and Fade.
Using myself as a human shield wouldn't be super good because like I'm a very tiny mech.
Yeah, you are pretty small. But he's small too.
You could always ram into him.
You could always debut some gear, like weapons.
Let me take a look.
Like a giant net gun or something. As a infiltrator, you have some special stuff, like electronic countermeasures. Well, no, that's not actually it. What do you have? Light mobility suite. Light mobility suite. You could like intercept Jackal in the air. A grapple system. You could grapple Jackal out of the boost. What else could you do? You could do a lot of stuff, like if you just like wanted to debut something.
So, like, as a small mech, I have 3 load total?
Yes.
Okay. And each square is 1 load, right?
Yep, each square is 1 load.
What do I like to do? Do I want, to, like, pop him with a weapon in the middle of the air? Or do I want to, like, use the mobility suite thing? Maybe I should try something with that. Like, pop something out to, like, at least, like, stall him in the air so that people can get into a better position.
Okay, so what were you gonna do?
Maybe my light mobility suite? How about some kind of, like... Do I want it to be a net? Or... Well, no, that's... No, light mobility suite is, like, making my thing move.
No, it can be a grapple system too, and you can certainly use that to grapple somebody else. Jackal just did it.
Maybe I, like, want to fire that out of my... Fire that out of, like, my upper guns. So I can, like,
Okay.
stall him and then, like, pull myself closer.
Okay. What do you think you're gonna be rolling here?
And this is a vehicle action.
Yep. So battle, destroy, maneuver, bombard, manipulate, scan. If I'm just immediately off the cuff suggesting, it sounds like battle.
I thought it would be, like, more like manipulate or... Well, maybe not manipulate, like, or bombard.
Not bombard. Bombard is like something for like when you are like what the rook is doing. You know, like shooting long distance.
Battle will be bad because I have no points in battle. Kind of sucks.
I mean, hey, you can choose what you do. It's just that like the effect will be different. You could also make this a setup action simply to like set up someone else for doing something.
Would someone, like, be able to follow up if I, like, pinned him?
You got two other you got 2 other mechs here, dude.
I
Okay,
could
then.
pin him, quite frankly.
Yes.
Also, like, wasn't this him, like, getting ready to take off after me?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
put a decent stun on him, my mech has very large fists.
So I guess, like, my main goal is just to, like, keep him stuck for a second so someone else can get this locked. I guess, like, I guess I do a lot of distraction, but I think that makes
Okay.
sense.
What would this be? We could like you could like finagle this as a maneuver.
We don't need to if you're, like, just, like, stat-wise, like, if you think it's battle, then it's
this
battle.
this is your choice, so I'm asking you. Like, what do you want to roll?
I kind of want to do maneuver. Like,
Okay.
nudge him into it to, like, I guess this would, like, yank him into a certain position, which is what it's describing.
Right. Do you want to push yourself? You have some quirks here that probably would work, like gripping legs.
I was thinking precision sensors so I could, like, see exactly where he was going and then just, like, shoot at the right angle.
Okay, I understand that. Like it's a predictive kind of computer thing.
Just kind of looks like a very close range, I guess. Yeah, like, he looks at his, like, screen, sees him, like, preparing something again to just, like, roughly find a point where he'd probably be in, like, 5 seconds.
Okay. So if you're gonna push yourself with precision sensors, does anybody want to aid this setup action?
Trying to think of what I could possibly do, since I've already spent a good amount of perks. All I have left is recognizable appearance. I don't know if that'll help.
Well, remember
much,
that you don't
but...
aid with quirks; you aid with stress.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'd like to help out. I'm trying to think of how I could help out though. Do you have more load? What's this?
What's up?
Well, I'm not sure if this would help because I feel like this would fuck up the precision sensors.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of too.
But I could just debut this cool tangle gun that is specifically designed to hinder a target from moving.
That is something you could do. You could also like allow the setup action to help you do that, and therefore have more effect on Jackal.
Okay.
It certainly sounds like rushing Limbo could just simply help out here. You could like do the same trick twice of like that loud revving.
Oh, I can? Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, like, unless I say like it won't work, you can just like decide what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Rushing is just going, hey, bada bada, hey, bada bada, swing.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically.
Like Rusty like gets Jackal's like not Rusty. Sorry about that.
It's
Rushing.
okay, it's
There's similar
funny.
names too.
Yeah, they're similar. It's okay, fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
you get Jackal's attention with that revving again. They're just like he just like looks down and is like, "Wait your fucking turn." And I think this would be where you would actually hold up. A collateral die. I'll tell you what the collateral die would do. The pawns would get involved.
I'd rather not. That might get too cover blown kind of stuff. And this is 3 die at the moment.
Sounds like it.
3 die has worked pretty well, but I'm worried it's going to like screw me over eventually.
I mean, only one way to find out, dude.
Yeah, only one way to find out. That's the
Roll
problem.
them
I think we're gonna go with 3 die, and if I die, I die.
Hell
Yeah,
yes.
make this if it's S for like risky standard, well, yeah, there's a position here, and I think it's still risky. So yeah, risky standard setup action, and it's a maneuver.
So that's 3 dice. Come on, show me the.
A
Yes!
crit!
Baby!
Fucking
yes,
Jesus.
dude.
Okay,
Good shit.
this I'm not actually sure what happens on a crit for a setup action.
I love Roll20's Rollbot. It's a lot nicer than Sidekick Bot.
Full sense of security.
I love Bean Saber's rolling ways. It's a lot more generous than Sidekick Bot and
Yeah.
made by the apocalypse.
I'm gonna say that a setup action crit like you don't have to choose between improved position or effect. You get both. So Stunner, whatever you do next will get both better position and better effect.
Okay.
It would otherwise have been, I think it would have been Desperate, probably Desperate Limited. So with this, whatever the heck you do next, depending on what it is, will probably be Risky Standard.
Okay.
So what are you doing? You want to use that Tingle Gun, right?
Yeah, I'd like to debut this Tangle Gun, which I'm still trying to determine, because you said they were like waist boosters, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to determine how a Tangle Gun could help specifically. And I'm thinking
anybody who's ever had to actually deal with a net on them will attest that like nets are just horrible.
It sucks. Hey, it sucks.
Like, you know how in cartoons where people freak the fuck out, that just happens because you're in a net.
Okay.
It's real.
It's real. You're right.
I just wanted to say, I imagine me like grabbing onto Jackal to be a bit just like a yo-yo looking thing. Just like giant wheels, sticks out a string and grabs it.
You know, I just realized, like, Truffle's gonna have a lot of paperwork to fill out after this one.
I'm
This
gonna
is
cause
probably
trouble.
not going as planned.
I'm already doing enough damage to Blueberry that there's
He's
gonna be
broken one pencil
consequences.
so far. He's rubbed it down to like the bit to nothing.
Have we done damage to Blueberry?
Yes.
I have.
Rushing Limbo's jump jets have caused a small fire. You can see it in the background. It's people are outside trying to like deal with it, but it has spread a bit to to nearby like houses.
Oops.
God dang it.
Defeated.
But yeah, you want to use this Tangle Gun. What were you deliberating on?
Just how it would work, period, but I guess a net is a net.
And then it's a net. And I figure this net has like big weights on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would we call that? What do you think?
Seize by force.
Yeah, shut up.
Honestly, probably just battle.
Yeah, it sounds
quite
like a battle.
frankly.
When you battle, you engage in vehicular close quarters combat. You might lash out with a scoop arm, fire your Gatling gun in a dogfight. This sounds like you're trying to hit them with a close quarters weapon, so yeah.
Yeah.
Are you pushing yourself?
Unassuming appearance.
Okay, you just like kind of just he doesn't notice you
not
when you
ready.
do it.
He is not ready for a net to come out of my arm.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you can still aid on a setup, an action that has already been set up. So does anybody want to aid?
It's always good to do so. All of this is
This is
ace.
3 dice already, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I love that.
Well, actually, hold up. No, it's not 3 dice. 1 for battle, 1 for being pushed.
I thought it was since I had one in battle.
What do you mean?
I have a point in battle.
Yes, 1 for battle, 1 for pushing.
Oh, okay.
Gotta remember that the setup action helps your position and your effect, and nothing else.
Okay.
Does anybody want to help?
May I use the fine shield to bash legs a little bit?
You could certainly, yeah.
To
That sounds like a thing you do.
Hell yeah. To make them uneven. There
You
go.
like shoulder check jackal,
Hell yeah.
I guess.
Hell yeah.
Do you want a collateral die?
Consequence?
I think those pawns would get involved.
No.
Okay.
No, we're just keeping those pawns out of this.
They're just civil. They're not civilians, but like they're just
helping
people
out.
doing their job.
And plus,
Like, also, like, if they're involved, then they're no longer trying to hold back the
yeah, I
rest
was
of
just
the
about to
mix.
say that would be a
Right. Jackal
full
squad
call.
would get involved.
Yeah, and we don't want that.
Okay.
Alright, so 3 die, baby.
So no collateral die, so that sounds like a 3 dice risky standard.
I'm worried for when the big drop happens.
I'm excited.
Shut up.
I'm excited for everything. I've caused the fire. I've
Oh!
the engine.
Oh,
Fuck! Is
son of a bitch!
hey
Fuck
You
you,
had
Jacob.
to compliment it.
hey
Son
what
of
is
a
1
bitch!
3? What does 3 ones do?
It
What
doesn't
does-
do
Oh,
anything
you-
other than failure. Don't worry.
Oh, no
But
critical
failure's not
failure?
great.
Okay.
You will at least be like pleased to know that if you gain a consequence because of your rival, you get to mark experience. So that's nice.
I got a critical setup and you did this to me.
God.
Now our rabbit is stuck tied to the fucking mech, and you did nothing about it. Now there's just a yo-yo on Jackal.
Gosh, consequences. Let me look at my big bag of consequences.
Can I flub that roll?
Can you what?
Can I flub that roll?
No.
You want a mulligan?
No, I just wanna say I actually got something else.
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
shame
I
you
think we
can't
should
do
I
that.
think we should allow to like be able to send Josie $5 for a mulligan.
It's a shame you can't just delete your messages and reroll, huh? You can't do that here. Only with Sidekick Bot.
What would this be?
This motherfucker's trying.
Also, Michael, you should switch your rolling to Stunner Morelo.
I think when I tried that, it fucked it up and I couldn't control my token anymore.
Whack.
Oh, no, I can still do it.
I think the consequence will be that Jackal will blare over his fucking comms, like, I'm not letting you go with all that fucking contraband, and the pawns would definitely hear it, and you'll gain 2 ticks to cover blown.
Son of a bitch.
Fuck that. I hate him.
The good thing is that I think you would be able to resist this with a pilot thing, like you just like shut him up by like talking over him or something. You know,
Yeah.
I would call
Stunner
like
sings a line to their favorite
you would
country
resist this
song.
with resolve if you hear me there.
Yeah, with
Okay.
resolve.
What would resolve?
Now you would roll 1 dice, and
Okay.
you would take 6 minus the dice's result as stress. You cannot technically gain a scar from this because you can at least roll a 1, and you
Okay.
have 6 stress left.
Okay. And
So do you want to take that chance?
it just resolve flat, or do
What do you
I?
mean?
Okay.
Like if you resist it, you'll resist it. You would use like if you see like the dice next to resolve 1d, you would roll
Okay.
1 dice.
Okay. Okay.
To completely explain what that means, for every like action that you have at least 1 point in, that goes towards your resistance. Oof. You gain 5 stress.
Oh boy.
So what does resisting for you look like here?
Holy
Like
shit.
Jackal's like starting to blare your fucking secrets all over the goddamn airwaves. What do you do?
I think in a fit of like panicked, confused rage, Stunner is kind of like almost blabbering over the loudspeaker. Just, how do you keep finding me? How do you keep finding me?
Like Stunner's just so fucking tired of this and like just blows the hell up at him in the
Yeah.
middle of a mech fight.
Like almost fucking cry typing blows up.
Right.
Holy
The other thing that I didn't mention
Try
was
so hard.
the other thing I didn't mention was the actual like effect, like what you do when you like launch that thing. I think like you didn't stop them, so Jackal fucking like rockets off is the thing.
I'm
So
still attached to Jackal.
you go with them.
No. Truffle is now blown
You
back
had
into his
to bring
seat.
it up.
Like Jackal does rocket off and is blaring this shit to fucking everybody. You fucking cry type at Jackal so hard that nobody can hear what the hell he's saying.
Oh
Like,
god.
for the love of
That
God,
was
what the
such a
hell?
laugh, my OBS
What the hell do you
report
do
just-
about Jackal?
I'm stuck. Truffle just like what? Truffle just thought it would be a nice gesture, just latch onto him and keep him stuck so he wouldn't like jet forward. And now he's stuck. He's like slammed back into the back of his chair, like what happens in a cartoon when a car goes really fast.
Alright, what's the ETA on Jackal catching up to me? Because it looks like that's where they're going now.
You are, I assume, you're like at the end of your like Healy fucking
Holy shit.
zoom. I think like it would take a little bit for like your jump jets to cool off that like you wouldn't accrue damage. If you wanted to like try and rocket again, I would say that the collateral is that you take the level 2 damage hot foot because your feet are almost melting from like the and the internals are like just like dealing with too goddamn much.
Especially since they are exposed.
Jackal is like Jackal would otherwise reach you before you can like cool your jets basically.
Do I have enough time to put Evergreen down?
If you wanted to pick Evergreen back up, that might constitute too much time. Like it took some precision to like get this thing off the ground without like crushing it. Like you know what these things are made out of. It's not thick.
Well, I mean more, I would like to know if there's enough time for me to put Evergreen down and then turn around and then roll to just fucking punch him.
Yeah, I'd say there's enough time to like set Evergreen down, not gently, but like set him down.
Set him down well enough that it doesn't break him?
Yes. Golly. Yeah, if you want to like try and knock the lights out of Jackal, you could. Do understand that like the effect of that would not be great. You are not like again like this is a better pilot in a better mech. So if you were,
It definitely is, but like, I don't think that there's Like, I feel like even if I do another Healy Bolt, if my feet melt, I'm definitely not getting away from Jackal, and they will catch up again. So I feel like I have to at least attempt to stand my ground a little bit here.
Okay. So yeah, that sounds like you want to try and knock Jackal the fuck out. Is anybody
Yes.
aiding?
Yes.
I can't really aid because I'm like stuck to this.
I think you can aid because you're stuck to this.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have
you-
the feet,
You seem
the
like
gripping
the
legs.
You seem like the ideal aid, in fact.
Okay. Let's see. Do I like do I stamp my legs down to stop, or do I like wind around him to like bind him up a little bit?
I
I'd
don't
say
know. What do you do?
I like them feet.
Would if I use my feet here, would
Those
that count as a
legs.
quirk?
No, you would still be spending stress.
Okay.
You haven't spent much stress, so you're
Yeah,
fine.
I think. Yeah, I can. Of course. I guess like I follow like right behind him, but just like probably when he's not expecting it, I just like slam my legs down and like just skid across the ground to like hopefully keep him from. Hopefully get them deep enough in that he like slows to a crawl.
Okay, you're trying to slow Jackal down so that like he like at an unopportune moment for him, right?
Yeah, just like let him like make it easy for him to like line up, hit in the middle.
Okay. Are you what's the word? Are you pushing yourself, Fade?
That I have to wonder something to say that. Do quirks regenerate?
Yeah.
Or
I can explain that right now. After a mission, everybody gets one free move called Upkeep, where they get to roll a dice for how many quirks they refresh. If you still need to refresh quirks, then you can spend materiel, or you can spend like a downtime action to continue to refresh those quirks.
alright. So my issue then is that I'm not sure which quirk I could really use to push myself here for slugging this dude as hard as I can.
That is a question. Flashing
First-
distracting could work. Like you you pull a weird move, or you Sun Tzu it, and you like flash light in his eyes, like by reflecting it off of your mech or something.
You can also do first generation and tell us like, hey, since it's first generation, it'd be really good at punching.
That could also mean that like it simply moves a lot like more fluidly and faster than a mech usually could, you
Mhm.
know, because it is a prototype.
You know what? Yeah, it swings a lot faster than Jackal necessarily expects it to be able to, and
Right.
as a result, it catches him off guard.
Right. Jackal hasn't seen like you move beyond like picking a thing up and like jetting. So Jackal moves in with you in tow, and then you
Wee!
you burp, and Jackal like seizes up a bit. Let's see. Do you want a collateral die?
Is the collateral die is still the rook getting involved, isn't it?
No, the collateral die is I think
Probably me getting hit.
no, you will get swung into Evergreen.
It's not good.
Sounds fun.
No.
I wouldn't do it, but sounds
This is up to
fun.
Jenny. This is up to Jenny, so
Yeah, no,
how
sounds fun.
how many dice would I have otherwise?
I think you're using battle, and you have one in battle, right? So you would have 3 dice.
That's good enough. I say,
You
looking at
you
Michael's.
say that, but Michael just got
Yeah,
a
I know.
triple 1.
Yeah,
And
like,
then
there's
a 1 on the
triple
resist.
He
screen
got
now.
4 ones. Okay, shut up.
The
3 is enough.
statistics
He
of this.
pre-rolled all the ones out of his dice now.
The effect of this collateral will be like I will I'll create a new clock, and that clock will be what would that
Evergreen breakdown.
Evergreen dies.
Holy shit! Just straight up dies.
Fuck.
Yeah, like he's gonna get hit with a giant mech. It's going to cause damage to Evergreen himself.
Holy shit.
Okay, then I cannot risk
No.
that for sure.
The clock would essentially be like a countdown to like, Evergreen succumbing to injuries.
Holy
This was going
shit.
smooth. It was in some sense.
I don't know. It's still
I
alright.
guess I'll have to take the 3 dice then.
All right. I mean, that's
a
better
lot
than
of
a lot of
dice.
shit.
That's a lot of
Some
dice.
people roll 2 dice and take the lowest. So hey. But yeah, this is a battle. Oh gosh, I think this is desperate limited.
Yeah, this is definitely desperate.
If it'll help you to know that you get XP for rolling this desperate action.
It was desperate, and what was the effect again?
Desperate.
You said limited.
Well, let me think, because like you are a big mech, and honestly, and this is a light mech. We'll call it standard. Like there is a narrative reason for why Jackal would like get fucked up by this, other than like
Right, sure.
you know.
Alright, well, moment of truth.
like big thing hit small thing
Oh
hurt.
boy.
Six. There's a 6.
You
There's
did
a
it.
6. That's it.
So when you roll a desperate action, go ahead and mark a tick on the type of like the stat block that it is about, so you get a tick of expertise. Good job. You are 1 tick closer to getting another tick of expertise. Golly, this has gone great.
I love it.
Alright, so real quick, I want to like describe the demeanor with which I throw this punch.
Yeah, one thing I want to know is, are you doing this to hurt Jackal, or are you doing this to like get Jackal the fuck away? Like give you time. Because 1 will tick the Jackal clock and 1 will tick the Evergreen escape.
By how much?
2.
2 for whichever one?
Yes.
I'd say escape, because that means 1 more escape action will...
The
have us
difference
on
is that
3.
Jackal, like if you punch Jackal, like Jackal will be hurt. If you like don't, you're like less punching and more kind of like throwing. Like the action is the same, but the effect is different.
I think I think at this point, Fade is just trying to get Jackal out of the way because of the fact that all of this seems to be going wrong because Jackal is here. And Z is realizing that it's not going to be easy to get Evergreen out of here literally as long as Jackal is here. So Z, as gently as Z possibly can, puts Evergreen down on the road. It's a little less rubbly here away from the main destruction, but not necessarily great.
I think Evergreen just like as you're setting him down, just like, hey, what's going on? What's happening here?
And then Z just turns around without hesitation, sees Jackal coming at her, and just lines it up with a solid fucking left hook. Not even with the power glove, with the normal controls such that it can swing as hard as physically possible. Straight up left hook.
Hell yes.
And just
Okay.
like swatting a goddamn fly almost.
Yeah. I think
tries to topple them to the ground. What happens to Jackal?
Holy shit!
Holy
I think
shit. I'm
Jackal
so
fucking
sorry.
flies is what happened.
I'm
Jackal
so
goes
sorry,
fucking
Truffle.
flying.
I'm so sorry, Truffle.
Did I?
And immediately after throwing the punch, watches Jackal just disappear into the fucking distance and goes, "I was busy."
Yeah, Jackal like you hit Jackal and Jackal just like starts like goes over here, hits the ground, starts fucking like along the ground into like a fucking like pile next to Stunner. Jackal isn't harmed so much. Like frankly, the surroundings are hurt more than Jackal. But like Jackal is like right fucking next to you. Stunner.
Was I still attached, or that was that not
No,
enough to?
I think that like snapped off, like that action like snapped off the grapple hook.
Oh, thank God.
I don't think
Oh,
the grapple hook
thank God.
broke. That grapple hook did not break because you didn't get it junked, but it did like, you'll have to spool it back up because it's a grapple hook. But you
Truffle,
are like right here.
Truffle is like looking in awe as he sees just like the dissonant flies, while he like slowly cranks the crank to draw it back in.
Yeah, and with that, I will tick the Evergreen escape by 2 because you have given yourselves a lot of room here. You are close to your objective.
And
Hey,
I also, like, immediately afterwards, I'm just gonna say over the comms, hey, you think you can drive the rest of the way, or do you need a little bit more help? Because I think that we've got a lot on our hands right now.
I think everyone's just like, yeah, I fucking hear you, and then like, you know, like the truck like tries like he has to fucking like really try and punch the goddamn truck to get it to start, but you do hear it clunkily start up. There's noises in the truck, like clinking noises, like gunk 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 gunk, but it's moving. It will take another sort of action to give Evergreen the moment, like the opportunity to keep going. But Evergreen will be able to move on his own. So who?
Was that Tango Gun one-time use?
No. What I will say is that the I think the pawns are starting to be pushed by Jackal's crew over near Jackal and over near you. They're starting to notice you. So I'll real quick make a new clock. Maybe a 4-step clock. And we will call it House Rules. And if that happens, the house aligned mechs will get involved. Like, we'll specifically see you as aggressors. So who does what?
During the brief lull, Truffle like pops into his mic and goes, operative faded. What was that?
Operative faded. That's funny.
1, it's fade. 2, what had to be done.
I'll let operative fade.
So he's he's right next to me. Is he standing?
He's picking himself
Is he
up
on the ground?
Yeah, he's picking himself up off the ground.
Can I just net him while he's still on the ground?
Yeah, you can certainly try.
Because I
I'd
feel
call
like
that
I would have.
at the.
I would have a bit more of, like, you know, small mech on the ground facing medium mech that is standing. I feel like that would be a much better position.
Yeah, I'd call that like you're not in any immediate danger right now, so I'd call that controlled limited, but you don't need much here.
Okay.
What would you call this role?
Probably battling again.
Okay. Yeah, controlled limited battle. Are you pushing yourself?
Common parts?
That works. Like you, because of the common parts, you like can source the nets better or
Yes,
something.
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay. Is anybody aiding you?
God, I love aiding.
Then do it.
I love it. Let's see here. So you're just gonna... What are you gonna do again? Sorry.
Essentially point blank, while he's down, net him.
Just while he's down netting him. Holy shit. Can I just hold him in place?
Yeah, I think you could like try and get your hands on him.
Yeah.
You probably won't be able to actually get your hands on him, but the distraction of you trying to grab him will definitely give Stunner more time.
Hell yeah. Also, hey, I gotta say, Rushing did hoop and holler and think that was the coolest thing that Faye did.
Hell yeah.
So,
everyone loves Fade, the mech pilot who punched the shit out of a dog.
Holy shit! You can't just say
Finally,
that.
I am appreciated in my time.
You can't
Yeah,
just say
so
that.
you're being aided, you're pushing yourself. Collateral die.
I'm not pushing. Oh yeah, pushing myself does the quirk, no stress, right?
Yep. You do not gain a
Okay.
scar yet.
I'm not even gonna ask what the collateral die is. No.
Okay, I understand. Go ahead and roll that's 3d6.
There is no collateral die.
3d6 battle. Controlled limited.
Fuck off!
Oof. No, hey, don't
It's a
worry.
4. It's a 4.
Controlled consequences aren't too bad. I just have to actually like look in my bag of consequences.
I love that's
Well,
what you're calling it.
she can't resist any more consequences is the problem. Otherwise, she's going to get a scar, which
Yeah,
I don't
whatever
think we want in session
happens,
1.
like, yeah. Well, this wouldn't be a scar. This would be breakdown. I think this will be some harm. It'll be the level 1 harm. What would I call it? Gouged? Yeah, better. That sounds better than like scratched.
Where do I put this?
This would in damage,
Right.
left side, a little bit down. You would get if you don't resist, you will get level 1 harm damaged as a jackal like swings around that that cannon again and like gets a shot off that doesn't hit directly, but like pings heavily off of your head.
So gouged, you said?
Yeah, gouged. Like a cannon shot like gouged into your armor or the structure.
I can't
There you go.
resist.
You can. You just get breakdown.
I don't want to do that.
But this sounds like you're trying to keep him away, and that sounds like you're trying to help Evergreen to escape.
Yes.
Which allows you, because limited allows you to tick it by 1. Evergreen escapes.
Hell yes.
Evergreen goes down, like guns it down the fucking road, and disappears into the forest, leaving you with a like, holy fuck, that was crazy.
I'd like to imagine there aren't roads he's going on. Like there's just he's leaving behind a path of fallen trees now.
No. There was a path you took. It's like a secret path. The idea is that you go through the rough stuff to get to like the like hidden beaten path. It's like it's not great going over like both rocks and dirt and sand and like foliage, but like it's what you got to do to smuggle. But Evergreen has escaped. Good job.
We did it.
You got that shot, so that stinks a little bit. Now y'all got to get the hell out. Jackal is currently predisposed for a bit. What do y'all do?
Can I predispose him a little bit more?
What are you doing, Seth?
What would you do?
I want to fuck up his boosters, the stupid die boosters.
He wants to pour salt in his gas can.
Yeah, that too.
He's
it's
not
it's
stuck.
sugar. It's sugar.
The thing you have to understand is that like Jackal, for all intents and purposes, is like nearly undamaged.
Yeah.
And y'all are like kind of like hurting.
That's
at
why I
least
wanna
like
fuck 'em up.
at least mentally. If you really do want to like be vindictive and try to like do that, you certainly could.
Yeah.
Just understand that like Jackal like would probably respond.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
I think
you're looking
Stunner
to,
would
like-
say over the comps, please don't.
Please don't. Okay. Okay. Fine. All right. Fine. She asked him not to. Fine. He'll
Okay.
huff,
So do
but
you
no.
use this moment to try to like escape?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's
Listen,
anything
all
else
I'm
we
saying
do.
is I can't. Sorry, you first.
I don't know what else is to do besides like put out the fires, but we can't really do that.
Not
That's not your job, and
yeah, I was about to say.
Unless you debut something, I don't think you have the equipment.
Truffle's amazing water sprinkler.
I mean, it could be like a fire retardant foam.
God.
It's
You know?
probably not worth it at this point, I guess.
It's not our job, dude.
I debut placed explosives.
No, you could. We could do a flashback. You know,
I
like
debut flamethrower.
you do a flashback where like you I don't know preemptively placed like fire poppers basically along the roads or something.
Because you knew Limbo was gonna do some stupid shit.
That would constitute you like taking 2 stress and then rolling for it. A regular old actual roll with I don't think you could push yourself on it, but you would basically have, if you succeed, done the thing.
I don't really like the odds of that.
Okay.
I could handle the stress, but like it's probably not worth it. What's done is done.
It'll be uber worth it if it works, though.
Yeah, it sounds like Limbo and Stunner are going to try to like F off.
Yeah, sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think as you go off, like Jackal like Jackal's fucking boosters like burn the net around him, and he's starting to get up and just like stupid goddamn big old Bo Peep mother, and then like over the fucking like over the buildings to where Jackal's squad is fighting the pawns, you hear just like even louder than Jackal's air horn, or not air horn but speaker system, just like, Jackal, get the fuck back here and stop playing with some randos. And it's like, oh my. I think he looks at you, Stunner, and then Blair's like, I'm gonna get you, you fucking zombie. And then boosts back over into the fray. Allowing y'all, if you like want to go to Port Orange.
Yay! I would.
Yep. So I'll just put you there.
The red mark. I tried.
I think you see y'all see Evergreen. Evergreen's truck has kind of like broken down in the middle of like almost at the start of the actual path back to Anodyne. He's sitting there in the fucking 100-degree heat, just like fucking like fuck. Until like he hears the stomps of your mechs coming closer, and he's like, and he's like, oh thank fuck. Like over the comms is just like, oh my god, that was bonkers.
Limbo's gonna be like,
hey, you look hot out there. I got AC in this one. It can
oh my
fit
god,
you
would
if
you?
Want.
Would you?
Listen, that was a lot all at once. Take a breather. I'll open the hatch up.
I do want to mention that a normal pilot seat is like comfortable for 1, cramped for 2, unless you like declare passenger space.
I didn't realize that was something I had to declare,
Yep.
but I do want to declare it.
Okay, yeah, I figured because like Fate especially is like a little like particular about personal space, I assume.
Very much so, yeah.
Okay.
But at the same time, like, essentially, Warpaint, basically this model, like, they were experimenting with the possibility of it running with 2 pilots, so even in the single pilot cockpit, there's enough space for a second person.
Right. So you can, of course, hotbox with friends.
Obviously, lots of space.
Space weed.
Yeah, Evergreen like steps out of the fucking broken truck, kind of gives it like a parting kick, and then like goes over to your mech and is like, so how do I open the hatch? I don't see any ladders.
I flip a couple switches and the ribbons in the back just kind of slowly open up and lower themselves down, and there's the big old ladder.
I think like he does that little like, it goes goong on down into the ground, and he's like, oh fuck, ooh, fancy. And then like, climbs up the ladder to the cockpit hatch, and pops down in one of the seats, and it's like, I take back everything I said about y'all being rookies. That was some fine piloting.
You're not just saying that just because I gave you somewhere cold, are you?
Yes, and no, I don't know. This is I think he just like breaks down fucking laughing, just like, holy shit, I got through that. I'm alive. Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
Russian.
Space Jesus Christ.
So
Russian hooping and hollering like, hell yeah, that was sick. I love that.
I think Stunner's
Truffle's
kind
not
of...
talking right now. You go first.
No, you go.
Truffle's not like talking at the moment. He's sort of like checking off some paperwork stuff, just like mission accomplished, rating.
Just
everyone
like
is
just eyeing the like smoke in the distance, like.
This is fine.
This is a section about how would you rate your coworkers?
0.
3 out of 5.
He like
4 out of. I assume Fate is at least a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
4.5 at most. Yeah, I think Evergreen's just like, I'm still fucking quitting this job, but like, if you're ever in the business, as they say, hit me up and I can probably help you out. And then he like kind of takes a little thing out of his pocket and is like, you mind if I smoke?
I have to reopen the hatch, but I
No,
didn't mind that much.
Oh, okay. You don't like space weed?
Shit. I thought this was space tobacco.
No,
Absolutely. Go ahead.
No, it's space weed.
Space weed, go right the fuck ahead.
Fucking like he's like offers to pass it, obviously, because like you don't like just smoke on your own.
Fade takes a hit. Z takes a small hit because Z doesn't want to take too much. Z wants to be polite about it, but Z does take a hit.
Doesn't want to be fucked up when they get back, and then it's just like, why is the blueberry on fire? Bro, I don't even know.
Yo.
Yo,
Don't-
what
I mean, it was
blueberry?
pretty hot. It was real hot out there, man. Maybe it caught itself on fire.
Dude, like
Truffle.
none of us had air conditioning.
Except for Zer.
But that's the funny part because
I have air
No.
conditioning. I'm just in my suit. I never got to switch into my actual uniform.
I have one last aside, actually, and that is, like, checking with Evergreen to make sure that they have a different way to get their shit out of here, because that truck looks like it's SOL, and I don't necessarily think that after what everyone just went through, we can very easily pick that truck up ourselves right now.
I feel like Evergreen was hoping you could just pick it back up.
Well, it'll be a little worse for wear, but I'll definitely be
Am I
to.
able to call in an
I
ally?
think at this point, what's that?
Am I able to call in an ally?
Yeah,
don't-
you can say you know a guy.
Well, I know Chip Maverick, who's an engineer.
Like you think he'd get like a tow truck out here?
Yeah, that could work.
Okay. Yeah, I think like you like when would you be able to do that? Because the idea I have for like how phones and stuff like that works is that like they work off of local networks, you know, because there's no satellites over Anodyne. So like how would you get the word out? Or would you have told this guy, hey, maybe like be available? You know what? How about we do this? We'll roll a fortune roll. If you roll well, he'll be there. If it's a mixed success, he'll be there, but you'll have to pay for it.
Okay.
And if you fail, he won't pick up.
Okay. So just one regular fortune?
Yep, just roll a 1d6. Good enough. You'll have to like he'll expect payment later. At least you can like owe him a favor, you know? Favors are
Right.
like good for money sometimes. But who is Chip Maverick? What is he like?
I think he's definitely an enthusiast, like sort of a mech enthusiast. I think that's probably why he helped Stunner to begin with, because like coming in with like, hey, this thing's broken and I really need it fixed or else I'm in deep shit, and this kind of like, I don't care how, but you've got your hands on a military mech, and I'm interested. I'm
Right.
very interested. Kind
Okay.
of deal.
So like what is like, so it sounds like he's like an aficionado but like eccentric, right? Kind of like a little too like eager to help in some ways.
I wouldn't say eccentric, but yes to eager, in the sense
Okay.
of like he's
Uh,
definitely the kind of person who like, I heard you got a new toy. Can I see it?
okay, what does he like look like? Because he'll like basically be like driving up in this like fucking disgusting diesel tow truck, like out of the like through the line of the woods, like towards the truck.
I think kind of that is grunge steampunk the right phrase?
It
Of
sounds like
kind
a
of
phrase.
like dirty, but not in the sense of like uncleaned, but been working. I'd say
Yeah,
probably
like working class grunge.
Yeah, working class grunge. I'd say, like, okay, I want you to answer me this. What comes to mind when I say blue collar worker? Just the image.
shit.
Dude in like tan boots, jeans, probably some sort of like workman's like construction vest.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
just like, true blue American dude.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think I got him. I think I got him in my head. Okay, so like, yeah, this guy comes like, uh, through the woods. Like, is it alright if I say he probably has like dark skin?
Yeah, of course. Why
Okay.
wouldn't it be?
I don't want to like, well, because it's like your ally. I don't want to make like assumptions about your characters that you haven't made.
It's fine.
Okay, so yeah, this guy like in this kind of like it's almost as much of a junker as like Evergreen's truck, but like it's belching smoke constantly. It kicks really hard, but it like gets there all the same. It's more of a tractor than like a tow truck.
Is
And
it
he
a
steps
John
out and like
Deere?
wipe. Yeah, sure, Space John Deere.
Shut up
He
about John Deere.
he like hops out the tow truck, like wipes his brow with his like his hat, and is like he doesn't look at like the truck. He looks at like the other mechs that are with you, and he's like, "You really know how to pick them." So about that favor,
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's this junker right here, and he like kicks the hubcap, and it just falls right off. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ain't no fixing that. I can get it to where you want it to go.
We need it taken to Anodyne.
Anywhere in particular? Just the dock or the lift or what?
I think she kind of looks towards
Truffle.
Truffle, thank you. Kind of like a where exactly does this go? Kind of thing.
Truffle. I don't think that any of you were given like a drop off point, but like the usual place you put any sort of cargo is like the tramway.
I guess
So,
so,
like-
I
yeah.
mean, we also do have like Evergreen.
Yeah, that's
getting high.
that
with
was
me
gonna be
here.
my
We
next
could
step.
ask him.
Ask Evergreen.
Oh yeah, Evergreen is here. Yeah, I think y'all ask Evergreen. It's like, yeah, just bring it to the tramway. I'll fucking get my guys to move it.
The tramway's fine.
You're harshing my vibe. Don't want to think about work right now.
I think Stunner would say to Chip, the tramway's fine.
I think Chip like scratches the back of his head. You gotta understand it. It takes a lot of like stuff to get all the way out here, and old Jetsy. Well, he like slaps the top of the tow truck. You don't take kindly to country roads.
I get that.
Oh, here, how about this? You just owe me one, and we'll call it even for now. I'll call on you some other time. Just I probably just for help. I don't need too much that and he like probably like looks at like some of the damage I'll have taken, like particularly that Talos Nebula has like a big gouge in like the head area, and like kind of like sucks in air through. So he's like, ugh. Yeah, I don't know if I can if I need what y'all are selling, but I'm sure I can have a use for a strong young lady.
Thank you.
I think despite their better judgment and against the entire mood of the entire scene, Fade just kind of goes on this out and leans out and says, "You want to hit a space weed? Does that make it even?"
Rushing wants to yell, I too.
I think
Truffle begins to like.
Is this enough to give me that final stress?
No, Chip. I think Chip goes. I'd take you up on your offer, but I'm working.
Truffle
We
is
were
like,
working too until a couple minutes ago.
Please forgive
I
them.
get that.
Oh no,
Tru-
it's all fine. Gotta cut loose how you can. Regardless, I'll take this thing to the tram. Y'all just do as you do. If you want to follow me, you can, but old Jetsy's pretty slow.
Alrighty. Thank you again.
And then I think that is, as y'all are kind of rumbling through these woods, that is the end of mission 1.
Hell yeah, we made it. We survived. Nobody died. No PC
Good,
death for
good,
session.
good job, everyone.
Yay.
This
No session, one scar.
This is gone for about 3 hours, so I don't know if we want to do like a downtime.
No.
Downtime. I think downtime would work as its own session, like you were saying originally.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking
kind
too.
of like how we
Yeah.
did with Deep Blues, where it was like action session, downtime session, action session kind of thing.
Yeah, so at the very least we can do is, since the session's over, we can start to tally up things like XP and trust, loss, and also your reward.
Yeah.
So let me get up the section on...
I was gonna say, I think Truffle considered like marking something on the sheet about driving under the influence, but decided to let it pass for now.
Limbo doesn't need to get his he doesn't need drug tests anymore since he's not official no more, so he don't care.
let's
He's not a
see.
human. How can he digest drugs?
He's a snake. Snakes can do that. Well, he's a
What makes
cobra.
you think Fade is human?
Huh.
Okay, I gotta roll this, or I gotta put this
I mean,
down.
I'm
mean-
human.
The drug tests were always were always real funky. Like they would always get venom in it, and it would always complicate shit.
Yeah, he did all that on purpose. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's how he passed.
Okay, so first let's just do the reward,
Okay.
because it's best to lead with the nice things first. So the mission was a success. You take a supply roll from your employer faction, who is Cradle. So you're going to roll dice equal to the target's tier plus employer faction status to a minimum of 0. The target tier was 960 Confide, so that's tier 1. Plus employer faction status that is currently 0, I think. Let me check. I'm pretty sure you start with 0 status.
It looks like 0.
Well, it's 0 on here, but like I just need to know if you start with that because they're your patron.
Mm-hmm.
But if the mission failed, fuck you. No. So supply roll bonus. Gain supply points equal to the highest die. I think. Yeah, they're not gonna pay you for fucking with canine dissolution because that wasn't the target.
Can we at least pass off that that canine dissolution was the reason for the destruction, and that can't be pinned on us?
No.
Why not though?
You accepted that collateral. You got to pay for it. So I think they're actually going to give you another dice simply because like this was a very like off the cuff mission, and this is the idea behind the mission was that to give you something useful to do, and so they probably want to keep you doing that. So any one of you roll 2 fortune dice.
Oh, me. I've called it.
If
I'll
you
let Seth do
Yeah,
it.
Limbo's the lucky one. Never
hey,
mind.
that's not bad. Is the thing you get 3 supply points.
All right, 3 supply points. Where do we write that down at?
It probably goes on your squad sheet.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that.
And crawlers. You scroll down. You don't have supply points particularly. We'll just like I'll keep track of it. Supply points by the end of downtime will have to be changed into either material or personnel as a whole.
So you said 3 supply points?
Yes. If you'd like to write that down, that's totally fine. I'll write
Okay.
that down too.
Shit. I'll make it fancy later. I'm just
That's
writing
fine.
it down for now.
On top of that, you get a bonus for your faction. Your faction is a cryptocracy, technically an oligarchy, so you get +1 personnel and +1 trust.
Okay, so alright.
Hey, we're at even.
X to that and 1 trust. Okay.
I think because of the like narrative, I think that Evergreen will not like badmouth you, so you can knock off that 1 lost trust there.
Okay.
Let's see. The squad earns 2 rep, so there should be a rep track on here somewhere, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so 2.
Yep, mark 2.
Okay.
But if the target of the mission was a higher tier than the squad, take +1 rep. So take 1 rep
Okay, one more rep.
per tier higher. If it was hidden, you would take 0 rep because nobody knew about it, but that was not the case.
So
Now,
that'd be just 1 then, since they're just 1 tier higher.
yes.
Okay.
So let's see. At this point, we would supply or assign the supply points, but we'll take that by downtime. Each pilot will check if they did something that furthers their drive. So check your drive and think, did something here help me with my drive?
Absolutely not. This just confirmed that I had to leave.
Right.
I did nothing of that sort.
Hey, that's
did-
normal. Drive is meant to be like a little bit slow.
What if I feel
I
better
didn't
about
really-
myself?
I don't think I really did anything to establish myself.
Since
Yeah,
we're-
it's totally normal for your drives not to tick, especially on like an early mission. I can understand Limbo like getting drive because like he like did a lot of flashy shit in front of like a higher tier person.
yeah, he
and,
feels
like,
really good about that.
a bunch of pawns. But this isn't about how good he feels. This is about like
What
how
he actually
popular
did.
he is.
Yeah.
How about this? I don't think it's a full drive tick, but on your sheet, write down a long-term project. That'll be showing my skills, and you tick that by 2. It'll be a 4 tick long-term project.
Okay.
If you succeed, if you like tick all those up to 4, you will gain a drive clock tick.
Okay. Alright.
Otherwise, nobody else did drive clock stuff. Let's see. Automatically remove any level 1 harm y'all have, because you simply like get that fixed up. And then I will tick if the mission supports the patron faction's goal. It does, because their goal, if I wrote it down somewhere, I think in the factions thing.
What was the faction we're under again?
What's that?
Which one are we looking at now?
On the factions and squad sheet for the cradle, what was it called again? Golden Streets. The Golden Streets is essentially securing like supplies, bettering the like, wealth of the area, and as a smuggling operation, this certainly did. So let me write down Golden Streets, and then I will tick this one.
Are you doing
I'll also
that
make the
in-
text bigger because it's really small.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
If that fails, you'll all get special training, which lets you do something special. Golden Streets lets you essentially take your supply roll for your reward and roll it twice.
Nice.
So if you can roll it twice, take the one you want.
Nice. Hello.
Let's see. I think that's it for now. Let's see. Oh yeah, trust and status. Stop me if you think that like this is stuff that we can just do off camera. Like status and trust and stuff. We can talk about it though, right here if you want. I think it's totally fine to like let the like low energy stuff ride, off camera.
Yeah, because I'm tired.
I'll keep a log of like all the trust things that changed.
Yeah, because it is like 11.
Yeah, it's gone on quite a while. 3.5 hours over here.
Yeah, like I get it. First session, it's gonna be long no matter what, but
A little. Frankly, amazing session. I was worried that it would be too short.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Good job, everybody. You made this.
I'm content. I punched a dude really, really, really hard, and he flew like fucking 50 feet.
That is the magic of big mechs.
I did something.
You did. But yeah, now we will be able to we'll have to speak on things like your FOB, how you gain it, what squads you fuck over, or who helped you to get your current or your then current upgrades, and everything you want to do on downtime, trust and status changes, things you want to do going forward. But I think that is the end of our session this time. So session one, mission one.
We did it.
Success.
I guess we did.
You did it.
Very nice.
You didn't completely fuck it up. You broke the rules of engagement, but hey, some rules are made to be broken.
That's my fault, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Listen, sometimes you start a fire.
Yeah, see?
Sometimes you just start a fire. A little carbonation, and I'll see y'all next time.